Testing. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Testing. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? I'm sure I'm gonna hear my voice soon, and it's gonna sound so cringe. Am I live? Am I live? Am I live? Testing. Am I live? Yep. There we go. There we go. Hey, yeah. Oh my goodness, it's been too long since I've streamed. Oh my goodness, I'm not used to streaming. It only takes a week for me to get knocked out of my groove with streaming, and now I don't know exactly what to do, but we will do it. I will explain myself. I feel like I have to explain myself. The reason I didn't stream last week, and I probably should have mentioned it, is because my friend came over, and it's been a while since we got to hang out with each other, so I wanted to just spend time with him and just like relax and like talk with him a little bit, and it was a good experience. We ended up just going to like he does a lot of stuff with his coworkers. He does a lot of stuff with like all sorts of people, and so he goes to a lot of fancy restaurants. So I was racking my head around like where to take him, because like I don't know as many fancy restaurants, let alone the fact that he like goes all over the place. And also, like, I wasn't necessarily feeling anything particularly fancy, but like his his I literally told him just straight up, I hope you don't mind, but I just want to go to a basic bitch restaurant like Buffalo Wild Wings. And he was actually appreciative of that. He actually he was kind of like tuckered out with all the like expensive fancy stuff that's always going around. So he wanted to actually, he didn't mind something much more simple. And I actually find B-dubs to have like pretty nice stuff for a low tier diner. Their cheesesteaks are ridiculously good, and I was just feeling chicken because like lately at home, and it's actually something I'm trying with all these bottles right now, is that I'm running low on a lot of I'm running low on a lot of my bottles, and so I won't need to go on a bottle run. Except my bottle runs tend to be quite expensive because I tend to like fancier stuff. And so that's going to be a huge hit, and I always have to save money for various things. And so I need to, one way I need to save money is that I've just been buying huge packs of meat for groceries. And the current groceries I have is just like 6 or 7 pounds of ground beef that I don't like. I can't figure out like really fancy ways to do ground beef over and over and over again, and therefore I really need to figure out therefore I was like super chickened out. I was super beefed out. I just really wanted chicken for once instead of like burgers, and then like spaghetti, ground beef spaghetti, and then this and that, and like, oh, with ground beef there's only so many different ways you can spice up ground beef. And so I got so sick of it, and that's why I really wanted Buffalo Wild Wings. I was watching random clips of the menu. Sometimes a simple greasy food for the common people is good. Expensive culinary stuff is I don't know if it has that modern art vibe. It has a pretentious feel. I mean, it's good. Like when I say fancy, I'm not talking about like literal like 3-star, 4-star, 5-star restaurants. I'm talking like, oh, he's hitting up a different ramen place every week because as his friend group, we have different friend groups, but like we're pretty close friends. And he would go to like different ramen joint every week, different sushi place every week. Try this family diner that they found that sounds good. And it's like, it's not all like ridiculously expensive stuff, but it's also like, you know, trying to be gourmet, trying to be like as good as possible and whatnot. Whereas like sometimes like we've talked about this together, is like a reason I'm into like cheap pizzas, for instance, is that and he's like really into fast food sometimes, is just like sometimes you want something that's pleasantly cheap, right? Like there's something about cheap food, there's something about inexpensive food that like has a different vibe to it. And like obviously it's low quality, like a Big Mac at McDonald's is not a high quality burger, but there is like a weird sort of, if even artificial charm to it. It's like the guilty pleasure you get eating chips, right? It's just like it's not good for you, but it's very satisfying to eat, and therefore like it hits a note that like more fancy food can't hit, and that's sort of what he was craving when I invited him out to B-dubs. I think it's good to expand your horizons. I do agree with that, because I do want to at some point like go out and try more ramen restaurants, try more like Vietnamese restaurants, try more like Italian, or like just try different cuisines. But also like it's hard to get out of my comfort zone of just like, I know this burger shop's good, I like this chain restaurant, I'm fine, I like the cocktails here, I just it's hard for me. Hello, hi, Chibidi. Sorry I didn't stream. I was just telling the story of why I wasn't streaming last week, and it was just because like my friend came over, and so we decided to eat at a chain restaurant together. Though try a Thai. Popular choices are Pad Thai and Pad Siu. Oh yeah, I've heard of those. Well, obviously I've heard of those things. They're the popular ones. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like I like that stuff, but I should try more Thai stuff. I should probably get to the point of the show right now. So it's enough introduction. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, honestly, this was going to be a Just Chatting stream because I frankly forgot why I wanted to. I remember now. I wanted to try a mule episode, but I don't have the... I need to check if I have enough my ginger beer to just like, I'm not in the mood for like a ridiculously cold drink right now. I would like something warm and comforting, and that's what Hot Toddy is for. Poke, you were actually the one who recommended doing a Hot Toddy episode, and this isn't that. We're just gonna drink one and like just chat. That's because that's kind of all I feel like doing right now. But I was really craving a Hot Toddy, and getting to sip one of those is pleasant. Hey, at least you got to go out. Oh man, have you not been able to get out the house much lately, GBD? It was nice getting to chat with him. I don't mind eating alone, but I definitely like it did feel better. And we talked about this with him. He talked about like food tastes better when you're with someone else, and yeah, it was another reason why he was perfectly okay just going to a chain restaurant like a B-dubs, because like it will taste better when we chat together about nerdy stuff. I'll be right back. I need to grab a few glasses. How's the audio, by the way? Is it all good? You can hear me all right? Is the music not too loud or anything? I suppose it's rather cold tonight, so it's nice to have something hot. Yeah, it's actually been hot lately, but it's not so hot that was unbearable, but also like tonight I really would like something warm. It's fine? Okay, that's good. I forget exactly what the spec was for this. I'm pretty sure I want at least half a lemon, but probably a full lemon. I forget the exact spec. So I'm copying. So if you've ever heard of the VTuber Yumi Tsuchinoko, she is a great Blue Archive VTuber. She's done like these ridiculously long Blue Archive streams, not streams, videos, like 3-hour videos where she summarizes the entirety of like volume 3, the entirety of volume 1, the entirety of every volume. And they're very well detailed. She has fun with it, like voice acting some of it herself, like summarizing the whole thing. It's a really cool series, and like, it's a shame. I wish I could watch your streams more often. Night shift fucked me up. I can't talk to any of my ENVTuber friends anymore. But like she's got sort of like a really chill streams. She was fun to hang out with in the Discord chat, which honestly, like I can barely get on that Discord anymore. So it's just like, I wish I could hang out with more ENVTubers again, but it's so hard when I'm a night shifter. But anyways, to get to the point, this spec is the best spec of a Hot Toddy I've done, and it's not a precise spec. It is her husband's spec for a Hot Toddy. Her husband's name is Bear, like that's his username is Bear, and he gave me the recipe, which sounded really good on paper. I tried it, and it was the best Hot Toddy. So, I forget the exact measurements. That being said, he didn't have exact measurements. I transcribed his toddy into exact measurements for myself that I adjusted, but then, like, of course, like, he never measures anything himself, and he admitted that when he told me about it. So, like, I guess it's fine not to have exact measurements for this. And this isn't a particularly strict cocktail to begin with, so we should be good. So I'm gonna go with 1/2 of a lemon for now. If we need more lemon, we could add it later. And we just build this in the glass. Now, if I had fresher lemons, I would have peeled this first to like save a lemon peel, but these are all going off, and then so I kind of don't want to put a rind peel on the end of my inside of my toddy. He did not measure his honey. I'm gonna say about 1/2 ounce. What type of coffee are we using? Coffee in a Hot Toddy? I've never heard of coffee in a Hot Toddy. What kind of Hot Toddies are you doing? I know some people put tea in their Hot Toddy, which sounds pretty good, but never heard of coffee. I mentioned that, well, you didn't stream, but you got to go all out. You got to go out as a trade-off. Yeah. Okay, I get what you mean. So the issue with measuring honey in a jigger is that this shit happens. It kind of gets stuck inside of the jigger, and so you either have to wait for it to pour for years, or you need to this is why Bear doesn't measure it. Like, you probably shouldn't pour it this way. The way you're actually supposed to do it, that I'm too lazy to set up because I don't think I use honey enough, is you should make honey syrup if you ever plan to use honey in cocktails, because honey is too thick to pour. Honey is too thick. What you do is you just take honey and literally water it down. Like 50% honey, 50% water. Stir that together, and that just makes it so it's actually pourable. And then kind of the fun part. We spice it. Ew. How do I? Oh, it's taped because it's a new thing. Come on now. Come on, man. Oh, there's a little serration here. Yeah, you're confused with another cocktail. I figured. There's not. I've never seen coffee in a hot toddy, but there are like coffee cocktails. They're quite good, like hot coffee cocktails. They are quite good, like spiking. I mean, there's an Irish whiskey, which is literally a spiked, basically spiking your coffee with the Irish whiskey. And then, so, like, I think How to Drink made like Mexican hot cocoa, which is like really nice. You like take really spiced chocolate and then you put tequila in it. It's sounds lovely. I've never tried it. Fun one here. 1 cinnamon stick. And 2 cloves. Now, typically you're actually supposed to like make a lemon wheel rather. You have to make a lemon wheel and then you stick the cloves in the lemon wheel. So that the cloves don't float and your drink you don't end up sipping any of the cloves because the cloves are kind of an intense flavor. You don't want to actually put it in your mouth. Oh, I probably should have gotten the water going, but that's fine. We can wait for a while and let it steep a little. Bear and I are on the same page because we both use Old Grandad as our whiskey of choice. Full pour of Old Grandad. And then the last thing we do is fill this up with hot water. I forgot to get the water boiling, so let me get that started now. We can chat for a little bit to have this steep because we put spices in here, the cloves and the whatchamacallit, the cinnamon stick. This will get better the longer we let it sit anyways. So it's not all bad. So just give me a sec to get it started and then we'll probably take another quick like 10-second break to when it's actually boiling. On the actual topic, I don't usually drink hot drinks, so I guess hot chocolate. Yeah. I don't really think of a lot of hot drinks myself, too. Like, there's like hot cocoa, like coffee. I do like coffee. I do like tea. I do like hot toddies and like Irish coffees. Honestly, like most of the warm drinks I can think of are just like variants of cocktails or variants of hot toddies, variants of spiked hot chocolates, and variants of spiked coffees, which I mean is fine, but it's also like not nearly as clever as maybe. Ooh, we could actually try a punch. I think some punches are hot, which would be really cool, like really classic like 1700s punches. The shit our founding fathers used to make for themselves. How to Drink has a great episode about like founding fathers, like drinks that were made before cocktails were invented, and just so like they were all like like big formats, like punch bowls filled with booze. Like it's literally like 90% different alcohols and then some fruit juices. It's insane how drunk, like throughout human history, just throughout human history, all the way up to prohibition, like any major political decision, any big massive war, any big diplomatic stuff that happened in like the Middle Ages or like in 300 AD, just like all throughout human history, fucking drunk. Like everyone was drunk all the time throughout human history before we decided like, oh, maybe drinking that much alcohol is bad for us. Like that's the thing with prohibition is like, okay, prohibition caused a lot of really bad shit to happen. It did work. We stopped drinking alcohol so much as a society. You think I get super drunk on every Monday with these streams, or I'm drinking like 3 to 5 drinks every stream? That was life every day for people back in the day. So like that, what is highly indulgent nowadays, it was considered normal back then. It's crazy. I think a touch of mint would go well. I think so too. Two issues actually. One real issue. If we put mint inside of a hot drink, I think it would like fuck you up. I don't think you want to cook mint, and so it will fuck up the flavor profile. Second issue, a more practical issue, I don't have any mint. I broke the vase that I used to keep my mint in, and so I need to buy a new one. It's cheap. I could always buy one. I've just been lazy about doing it. Curious, plans on trying absinthe? I've actually made a fair number of absinthe drinks. It's my favorite spirit. I love absinthe. I unironically love absinthe. I really want to do... Eventually, it's an expensive project, but eventually, I've always had this idea of doing, is all whiskey the same? Is all rum the same? Is all absinthe the same? But when I get to the absinthe episode, it's not going to be that titling. The clickbait title I had in mind already was, this drink used to be banned, because it was, and it has a very unique history. It's a unique spirit, and it's so good. Like I unironically love absinthe. It is my favorite spirit. Be right back. The water just finished. Got my electric kettle going, and all we have to do is just top this off with hot water. What the? Weird. And give this a nice stir, because I noticed some honey settling on the bottom, but this is gonna be hot. I probably shouldn't drink this right away, but it's also a good idea to not drink it right away for the same reason I mentioned before. Like we are steeping all that delicious cinnamon and nut. Well, we haven't even added the nutmeg yet, actually. The cloves, the nutmeg. If we had a lemon peel in there, the lemon peel. Let's add some nutmeg right now. But if we had... Like, if we let this sit for a while, it's gonna keep getting better and better. And eventually, when we are sipping it, while we're sipping it, it's gonna get better too with time, so... I'd never really measure my nutmeg. I just top it off. Ow. I just sort of top it off. Just hit it with some nutmeg. Can I be cool? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, like a samurai. They didn't have good watering, filtering system at the time. Yeah, that's part of it, but also it was quite indulgent. Let's be honest, it was still quite indulgent to like drink the amount of alcohol they drank. Though we did talk about before, like it was a legitimate filtering technique to put rum in your water if you were gonna go sailing for weeks, because like the rum the alcohol sort of disinfects your water. It still wasn't really safe to eat, to drink, but it was better than just having water. Like there was a legitimate medical reason for putting rum in your water back in that day. Yeah, it's still a little hot. I'm just gonna let that cool off a little bit. So will we see moonshine? Fuck no, that's illegal. I know there's moonshine. If you go to liquor stores, like, oh, they sell it in like a rustic looking bottle, and it's like, oh yeah, this like not juniper, what, huckleberry moonshine, and made in Kentucky and all this stuff. It's not really moonshine because it's legal. The legal definition of moonshine is that it's illegal. What most moonshine is completely unaged whiskey, like completely new whiskey. Most whiskeys are gonna be in the barrel for like a few years, whereas like moonshiners, they're basically making whiskey and then not aging it. Because it's like, if you go with the legal definition of like what bourbon is, it would be like halfway to 3/4 of a way to being bourbon, except that it's not aged and it's not stored in a barrel to begin with. And then so like that's they're on the way of making corn whiskey, basically. Let's actually take a sip of this now. It's cooled off a little. Oh my goodness, that's so delightful. Oh, that's so comfy. It's like clearing my sinuses too. The like baking spice notes out of it with the cinnamon and the cloves, like actually like clears my sinuses. Is anyone else getting allergies? Because I've been having like crazy allergies lately, just sneezing and coughing all over the place. And oh man, this feels like it's genuinely curing me. Oh my goodness, that's so comfy. It would definitely benefit. I think I have the right spec. I think I made it exactly the way I like it. Other than the lemon peel, I would want a lemon peel in here to like extract all the lemon oils from it, but I don't I don't have fresh lemons to do that with, sadly. Other than that, this is like 92% of the way. This is excellent. Ugh. This is like the liquid embodiment of like saying cozy next to a fireplace. Just like, you know, it's a cold night. You've had your fun during the day. You're just relaxing. Maybe you got your favorite Christmas movie. Let's say it's a Christmas time, and you got a Christmas movie going. You're with a loved one or a friend or just someone you really like, and you're just toasty by the fireplace. Maybe bundled up in a blanket too, and just in a completely relaxed mood. This drink is that feeling in liquid form. I think I could put more honey in. Yeah, the issue wasn't necessarily that I didn't put enough honey in, it's that not enough of it came out. I could always back sweeten it a little bit. It's just But that might bring it to like 92% to like 94%. But you know, let's make it as pleasant as we can, shall we? Honestly, though, on your point, Eto, right? Is that correct, or is it like Ito? Um, I would really like to. I wonder if you can make like an absinthe one. Most toddies, as I understand, are whiskey based, but we could do this into. We could maybe like fancy this up and like make this more old fashioned, make this more or IWSC, IWCE, improved whiskey cocktail. We could take this in a lot of different directions to try to improve this. We might not do that today. I mostly just want to chat, but like if I'm in the mood for it, we can certainly do it. I got 2 cups for a reason. Like we could have another one of these and spice it up a bit. I am curious about an absinthe toddy. What did I want to talk about? Because I already talked about Overtake. Oh, I started watching Plus Size Elf after we discussed it last stream. Because I remember I was talking about that one show about eating monsters. And with the like elf who is like always hesitant to eat the monsters, but she wanted to do that. But I started watching Plus Size Elf, and then they now I understand. Ever get into brewing? No. I've wanted to try making my own gin at one point, but like that is way low on the priority list right now, especially lately. But that is way low on the priority list just because like there's other stuff I want to do, and then there's also oh shit. Okay. This is lagging a lot though. Yeah. Yeah, shit. Okay, hopefully this doesn't work. I had to maybe yeah. That might actually be the issue. But okay, we can talk about that. Assuming this is still working, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. Shit, I forgot what I was talking about now. Yeah, I wanted to make my own gin at some point, but it's just not a priority. It's a fun idea though, because I remember Nina Kosaka way back when, like she graduated from Nishi a long time ago, but like one of the coolest streams just ever, like VTubers, regular streamers, etc. was like she was doing vodka infusions, and like she put candy in this one, and like this herb in another one, and like this other flavor in another one. And it's like, ooh, that sounds really good. I might have to try that someday, because like I've wanted to try infusing stuff for my own, because I know that is like the next level up. If you want to do stuff, if you want to make like really fancy cocktails that are truly unique, is that you need to start infusing your own booze. And like obviously you don't need to brew it yourself, you just need to like come up with unique infusions. Like Empress Gin, for instance, is essentially pretty good gin that they then infuse butterfly pea flowers into, and like that's both an excellent gin, it tastes really good, and it's got really gorgeous blue color. If I recall, gin is a spirit where you need distilling equipment and you need a license to distill, but anyone can brew. Okay. Maybe I have a different. Yeah, I do remember like distillation. That was part of why. Like it's there's some legal stuff you have to get through in order to distill stuff. But I thought brewing and distilling were the same thing. Yeah. There was like, oh yeah, because I was as ill, and because like I was just dead tired, exhausted because I hadn't been sleeping well. I did start watching Plus Size Elf, and it made me feel bad for not working out. I didn't end up working out this week because of the fact that like I was pretty ill. I hadn't been sleeping well, all this sort of stuff, and it just manifested in like, okay, I don't think I can go to the gym today. I try to go every day. Like, I go 6 days a week. I used to go 6 days a week. I'm trying to get back to that. I've been averaging like 4 to 5 days a week. And I I was watching it, and like it's a silly little show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes so far, but it's like, okay, the first episode is about like the elf who can't stop eating fries, and so she gets fat, and like she works out, gets back to her regular weight, manages to go home, but then comes back to eat more fries because she loves fries too much, and then she does it. And then the second half of the episode is just all workouts. So it's just like, oh, if you're worried about your belly, here's some ab exercises you can do. Oh, if you're worried about your butt, so here's some glute exercises you can do. Because the second episode's about like the dark elf whose butt is too big, and therefore she can't wear her like magical suit, which gives her mana. And just like seeing them work out for like literally half the episode was making me like, oh god, now I feel guilty because I'm not doing that right now. I'm gonna have to try extra hard next week. And obviously, I just need to get back to consistency. That's the real issue, is I need to get back to consistency. Part of it, too, was like I pushed myself too hard on day 1, and that ruined me for day 2, and then that made me exhausted for the rest of the week. And so, like, it's hard for me to, like, figure out the right consistency, because I up until that point, I'm trying not to go 100% during a workout, because I need to do it for 6 days straight. So I was like, I often do like roughly, I'd say about 75 to 80%. And I was trying to push that where I'm like, oh, let's see if I can go 90 today. And then by going like I think I was close to 100%. By going like 95%, I ended up ruining my week. So that stinks. Like, yeah, you can make mead. Oh my god, I haven't had mead in so long. I used to have a bottle of mead that was really good, and then I can't find that mead, and that's why I haven't had mead in a few months. Oh man, mead is really good. What's different from mead? Do you not distill mead? Because I love mead. Like, I used to just sip mead. Mead is possibly the only mead, curacao, and absinthe are the only drinks just drink straight. I just drink neat because as like they're so delicious on their own, and so yeah, I need to get more mead. I've been wanting to make cocktails with mead, but like that's part of why I just drink mead neat, is because it's like I don't know how to use mead in a way that's actually good. Mead is just honey and yeast and fermented. That makes sense. I think I remember. Yeah, there was a how to drink. Skyrim has legit mead recipes, and then if you put mead, if you actually try to make them, they're actually quite good. Like they're legit mead recipes. Some are better than others. I remember like how to drink didn't particularly like 2 of them, but the third one he actually quite liked. And then so Yeah. Mead is just honey and yeast and fermented. It's like beer, but instead of barley, you use honey for the sugar base. Oh yeah. That was a root beer thing too. Um, I've really wanted to try making my own root beer, and then there's two ways you can do it. You can create a root beer syrup where you just basically like create a sugar product with all the roots you need, the like gentian and like sarsaparilla root and other stuff. I forget all the roots you need, but you basically brew a tea with them with the sugar in it, and then you create a sarsaparilla syrup, and then you just mix that with soda water and you get root beer. Or you can hard ferment it and make it a soft beer, which would be like, okay, you put a little bit of yeast in there, you let it ferment as you say, and then so it will end up being like 2% alcohol. It's not anything significant, and you shouldn't ferment it past that point because it would taste bad. But like you get the fizz from the fermentation process. Did look into some bees keeping stuff. Apparently there's different type of honey with their own unique flavor profile. I do notice that with like the different kind of honeys I buy. There's various brands of honey I've gotten from the grocery store, and there's like, there's several brands of honey, and they do all taste different. And I never really thought about why, but I do realize now. It's like, oh yeah, maybe there's maybe like a different breed of bee or something like that. So or the environment the bees are raised in does something like that. You ever tried out an absinthe pipe? It's a more simplified way of preparing absinthe drink. Absinthe pipe, huh? I don't think I've heard of that. I'll have to look that up. But I'm always curious. I want to buy a Balancier. It's like this weird, like, scale thing where you, like, put... First of all, you get an absinthe glass, which is like a really unique, like, let me actually point it towards this camera. It's like a really unique, like really fancy, like gothic looking glass. And then you put Balancier on top of it. And then what it does is that first of all, you put ice, and then you put ice cold water in it. And a sugar cube. And then the Balancier will like tip back and forth as it like splashes a little bit of water, then splashes the sugar cube to melt a little ice in it, then tip just a little bit more water, then tip a little more sugar water, then some ice, then some water, then some, and it just flips back and forth. And so you only put like this much absinthe in your glass, but then like it fills with that much water to dilute it, and then you just stir it, and then your absinthe gets grated on all sorts of different notes, and it's a really cool process. I need to blow my nose. It does seem like a really cool process, and I do want to try that, especially when I get to the absinthe episode eventually when I do that. I know I keep promising it, but it's an expensive thing, man. Like I really, really need to plan it out in order to make sure it's good. In order to make sure it's a good stream, because I don't want to spend all the time making that video and it not being as comprehensive as I want it to be. But anyways, like yeah, I would be down to trying like all sorts of different absinthe things for the sake of like explaining absinthe to people. Did look into a bit of beekeeping stuff. There's different types of honey with their unique flavor profiles, so you get different types of mead. Wonder if someone's crazy enough to brew mead made from... there's a little notification. Wonder if there's someone crazy enough to brew mead made from mad honey. I wonder how much gyanotoxins will be in the bottle. What the fuck is mad honey? What is mad honey, and what are those toxins? Is it like bees, like, is it like the mad cow disease of bees? That's another scary part of the distilling process, honestly, is that like, you have to, they refer to it as the head and the tail of the brew, and it's because when you distill or something into alcohol, you are, in addition to like extracting all the alcohol from it and all this crazy stuff, it's you I forget the explanation. I need to watch that video again. But you are also like concentrating the toxins that are inside of whatever you're distilling from. And that shit is so dangerous that like a few drops of it will make you permanently blind, if not outright kill you. And then so like you have to get rid of like the first batch, and you have to get rid of the last batch, but because the rest of it will be perfectly fine. They've been brewing it for literally hundreds of years. So after that point, it's fine. But then like the first and the last are dangerous, because it's like, okay, you get the concentrated toxins up top, and then you get like the residual toxins on the bottom, basically. It comes from a poisonous flower where bees get their nectar from. In small dosage, in a small dosage, it causes hallucinations. In the past, they used it as a form of drug, but yeah, that's why you need to be licensed to be a distiller. Yeah. It's the process is like super. There's a reason why it's so strictly regulated, and that's why like during Prohibition, the people making bathtub gin was such an epidemic. Is because it's like they weren't professionals. It's highly dangerous to make some of this stuff, let alone like not just like that toxin stuff that might have been more like not as well understood. Also, you are putting like a lot of stuff through high pressure valves and stuff to like distill stuff, because that's how it works. I forget the exact processes, but it's like it involves like pressurizing a lot of stuff into tight spaces. Shit can explode. You could be making bombs by accident. Just like completely by accident, you are making bombs. And I wouldn't be surprised if they if some people accidentally blew themselves up trying to make it illegal alcohol. Did Prohibition target beer? Yes. Like it was a full-on prohibition. Like they set a hard limit, because like obviously like fruits have alcohol in it. Fruit juice has alcohol in it. Like tons of stuff has alcohol in it, just at meaninglessly low amounts. If I gave you a like jug of apple juice, does contain alcohol in it if it was made just completely naturally with the apples, but it will never ever be enough to get you drunk. It's such a minute amount of alcohol, but it's like the point of Prohibition necessarily was to get rid of just anything it has a meaningful amount of alcohol. Like the limit was like really low. Like it was like, oh, if you are above like 0.7%, I'm making up a number, but like 0.7% alcohol, oh, that isn't outlawed. You cannot have that. When it came to illegal spirits at the time, they were spirits. I mean, they did ban beer too. Like you couldn't even have a beer. I'm banning beer and wine is kind of impossible. Yeah, because part of the point is that like there are soft beers, there are like soft wines, because like back in the Middle Ages, like beer was a breakfast item and children drank it, and it wasn't that bad for them because it was like 1%, 2% alcohol. That would be like pouring wine in your pasta. It's like that dish does contain like 1 or 2% alcohol, but it's not gonna fuck you up. And like, I mean, it's still bad, but it's not gonna fuck you up. And like, yeah, as you say, like it wouldn't be necessarily strong enough to necessarily be able to outlaw if you can get around it. But also, people were getting around it. I'm 100% sure I told this story before, but during Prohibition, some manufacturers create a block of grape juice, just like a block of like solidified grape juice, that said, do not leave this out with the yeast because it will turn into alcohol. And it's like it was a very clever way to get around. It was made from a former alcohol company, so they knew exactly what the fuck they were doing. But like they made a huge warning label that just expressly said, do not do this thing because it will turn into alcohol, and the government couldn't do anything about it because it was a warning label. They are saying to not do that. They're not the criminals if someone chooses to do that. But also, it was like an intentional Streisand effect thing of like, oh, this is how you make alcohol. So they essentially create instant wine packs for people, but explain to them, do not use this for wine, though you could, but don't. You could, but don't. Oh man, the past was the worst, but it was also really funny. Oh my goodness, that was so good. Let's experiment with shit. That didn't mess. Yeah, it's fine. When it comes to distilling, you need specialized equipment for that. Like to really make alcohol drinks, you need sugar, water, yeast, and that's it. Yeah. Is there an L in there, or am I just not Kilju? That they call it? In reality, any sweet juice drink can be made into an alcoholic drink. Yeah. Like, what is it? Like, brandy is like apple wine, right? Or like, well, fruit wine, but it's like usually apples. Like Aphrodite. I forget the exact pronunciation of that, but that's like peaches. Like alcohol distilled from peaches. Kilju. Kilju. Okay. Oh my god. Hopefully that doesn't get taken out of context. I hope you're not fucking with me. Okay. Any sweet drink. No, that would be curacao. I was gonna say like orange juice, right? Well, you wouldn't do that. It's like orange peels, I think curacao is made from. I forget exactly. Rum is molasses. I actually know this one. It's kind of brutal, dark history what rum is made out of, because it was like the slaves made rum because people thought molasses was a garbage product, just a waste product. They decided to make alcohol from that. It turned out to be quite good. Their masters were like, oh, that's quite good. We are gonna take that from you and sell it as well. Which, I mean, that sucks, but also, thankfully, we've made it more accessible again for everyone, and rum is absolutely, well, it's kind of essential to like human history as well. So much stuff, just like wine was essential, given its prominence in like court culture and whatnot, or like rum, the way rum was used throughout the ages is like highly important. Let's get the other half of our lemon. More of our honey. So a half an ounce. I'm saying half an ounce because I would put a full ounce of honey syrup, which would be just 1-to-1 water and honey, and so that would make it a little. It would water it down, but it would make it easier to pour. It was rare to have fresh grape juice back in the old days, so you'd have to wait till harvest season, and the juice is only good for a short while. Yeah, like we have like apples all year round now, whereas like. Well, it was crazy actually. Back in the day, like they used to make apples that were intentionally shitty. They intentionally made like some really bad, well, not bad in the sense of they're intentionally trying to make something not delicious. Bad in the sense that they were not for consuming normally. They made apple orchards specifically designed to make alcohol from. Brandy, I believe. It would be brandy, right? Or was it Applejack? Is Applejack just apple brandy? I forget. But yeah, like apple brandy. They would make apple alcohol. They would make apple specifically for alcohol. And so like that was the bare. I mean, part of it was a business. Like people loved their alcohol back then, especially back then. But also, it's like as you say, like it's a better use for your fruits in general because fruits have such a short shelf life. What absinthe should I use? I'm not going to use much, but I'm thinking either. Well, I only have these two, but like Pernod, St. George I tend to prefer, but Pernod is pretty good too. Let me take a quick sippy. Brandy is all fruit based? Yeah, I figured. But also I know Applejack exists and it was popular in early America. Yeah, this is just strongly black licorice. With a little hint of caramel at the end. And let's see about St. George again. I love St. George. I sip this all the time. Just neat. I just drink this for fun. That's why it's close to empty too. It's because I just sip absinthe like crazy. I'm a huge absinthe fiend. This one's hitting different today. something on the high end I can't really explain. It is like a herbal spice. Maybe that's the wormwood. Oh, that's a mint. Yeah, I'm getting strong mintiness from it today. Oh yeah, fennel. That's what that is. Fennel. If I keep drinking this, it's gonna turn into an absinthe sipping stream. This is excellent though. This is still my preferred one, but I think the Pernod is actually gonna work better. I think it being less complicated and less herbal will go better with the baking spices than like the St. George, which is super herbal and spicy in a different way. It's spicy in like a, like, you know, like it has the sort of like herbs you would put on your steak type of deal with that one. Let's actually put our baking spices in here first, because I do love me some cloves. One, two. I do love me some cinnamon. And now let's put the whole IWC package in here. So I'm gonna put. There's no way to wash this glass with absinthe. That'd be way too much absinthe. So I'm just gonna give it a splash. I'm gonna just put my thumb over and just, yeah, just like a little dash of absinthe. Maybe a little more, just because I like absinthe. There we go. Oh, that's delicious. Bar spoon might be a little too low. Yeah, especially because we're gonna top this off with water. I'm gonna say like probably a 1/4 ounce. Oh shit. There we go. A 1/4 ounce of some Curacao. In this case, Grand Marnier. My beloved Grand Marnier. Not too much, because like the IWC build, Improved Whiskey Cocktail, you only want a small bar spoon of the two ingredients, Curacao and maraschino. And we already put honey in here, so it's like it's gonna be plenty sweet. So we're gonna put some maraschino. Just like 1/4 ounce. So we put... Oh yeah, I did want to try this with the previous one. We'll do it after the whiskey since it's in my hand. More of my beloved old granddad, which is going dry. Gonna need to... Oh man, I am not looking forward to spending a ton of money on a bottle one. Usually I'm excited about my bottle ones, but not the next one, because it's gonna be a lot all at once. And finally, I'm gonna do like 2 dashes of Ango and then 1 dash of orange bitters, or the other way around. Yeah, so 1 dash of orange bitters We can add a second dash if we feel like we need it, but I'm gonna go with one dash of Angostura bitters. And then we need to top this with hot water. I need to get it started again. Just give me about 10 seconds. How much does it go for? I mean, they're like 25 to 30 bucks per bottle, which is not bad. That's a average for, or like the mid-tier spirits range. The issue is I have to buy a lot. I need to buy more Four Roses as well. I need to buy more Smith and Cross. No, I don't need to buy more Smith and Cross. I'm good there. Yeah, I definitely need to buy more Four Roses and the Old Granddad. I need to make more simple syrup. That's easy to make, but it's like, it's time consuming. Ugh, I need more kachaka. I'm just checking the rest of my collection, which is actually underneath this table. Right, I need to buy a different rye. Yeah. At that point, maybe just spend money to save time. I mean, yeah, that it's an eventuality. Like, I do need to do it at some point, so I just need to make sure I can spend the money. The issue is just like there's a lot of stuff coming at once. It's so annoying. So some of it was necessary, and really annoying things. Like I wonder if my vertical camera is a little different today to you guys, because I had to get a new phone because my phone broke. Super annoying. So that was an unexpected cost. I'm still waiting for like a doctor's bill. I'm still waiting for like I'm still there's something exciting I had planned that I was slowly paying for. Yeah, there's just a lot going on, and then that a really annoying one recently. There's on the completely not so unnecessary side. A figure I wanted from Ami Ami that I've been waiting for months chose the exact right time, chose the exactly most inconvenient time to come out. Ugh. I'll be right back. The water's done. So yeah, it's kind of not a great time for me to like spend a lot of money, but that's where we're at right now. Just because that's where I'm at right now, especially because, like, you know, I want to be able to stream for you guys consistently. I want to be able to do stuff, but I'm gonna need a lot of alcohol to do that. I did have an idea for a much more cheap idea, which was to buy a bunch of root beer, actually, just because. For one, There's one of my favorite cocktails is something called a Naughty Dog, and it is a very delicious. Um, is a very delicious White Russian variant. Ooh, that was weird. Weird in a great way. Um, and it's like it's like heavy cream, Kahlua, and root beer, and with some other stuff. It's deeply weird, but absolutely delicious. Oh my god! And I need to find the right. It's a root beer for that. So experimenting with root beer to maximize my Naughty Dog would be really nice. Overall, I think this is a hobby is cheaper than getting into cars. Yeah, this hobby gets pretty expensive pretty fast, especially as you want to try more and more drinks. But then, like, at some point you can stop, and then like if you just make the same like 4 drinks, that's fine. And especially if they're 4 different spirits, like you've suddenly like extended the shelf life of a lot of them. And that's what I've done is like I've created such an extensive collection that I can make a variety of drinks to the point that I don't need to buy new bottles that often. But they all run out eventually. And I've gotten there. But yeah, getting into cars, oh god. Like, even if it's not like that's such a rich people hobby of like collecting cars, but even if it's just like modding your car, like people get like really cringe with it. There's 2 separate instances of some really funny stuff, and I think about this a lot because I got into F1. There are 2 separate instances of this car that like has ridiculous numbers of spoilers on it, just different amounts of like weird arrow cutouts stuck on the car. The thing with a Formula 1 car, and they look stupid, but at the very least it makes sense. They're literally shaping the car. They're like literally molding the car to be the perfect shape, to like reduce aerodynamic drag, to create downforce, all that kind of stuff. It makes sense for how they do it because they're literally shaving pieces off the car to make it as light as possible, to be as quick as possible. People are like, there's this guy who puts like weird carbon fiber bits on his car so it's not losing any weight, it's gaining weight. And then it's like trying to like emulate the idea of like, oh yeah, it's restricting airflow. Well, it's restricting airflow this and that way, and so it's creating downforce, it's reducing drag, and it just looks so cringy and stupid because it's clear you don't actually understand how downforce works or drag works. I don't understand how drag and downforce works, but I know it's not like that. I completely know it's not like that. Don't go into Cane Bruce, please. I've seen too many get too far with it. It's absolutely hilarious, especially if you're into motorsports, because you can tell they're just like try-harding so hard to seem cool by trying to make their car look like a race car, except it just looks ridiculous because they're just literally nailing on bits of stuff to make it look like a race car, but is actually making their car slower, in addition to more stupid looking. Ooh, there's a little too much maraschino in here, but it's actually quite good. Ooh, there we go. There's a hint of absinthe in there. Oh man, this is nice. Oh my god, this is nice. Improved whiskey cocktail toddy. Banger. It's a little bit too sweet. It's a little overly sweet, but also like I knew that going in with how much honey we put in it, and then we added even more sweetener. So like it can be rebalanced in a way that's more meaningful. What's that? Ugh, oh god. Okay. Time to blow my nose. Hopefully you don't hear that. It's gross. But yeah, like it definitely needs to be rebalanced. Maybe we can get away with just a bar spoon of curacao and maraschino liqueur. And I think we could do with a bit more absinthe because of the fact that like we're watering it down so much with literal water, literal hot water. But overall, this is fantastic. This is really good. That is a strong way to elevate a hot toddy. Just use it the same way. I think you could use a little more bitters. I don't actually like the orange bitters in this that much, but let's see if we can rebalance it with some Ingo. I'm becoming like how to drink. Greg will always find an excuse to put some Angostura beers in something, and he always feels like he improves it. Eh, it's fine. It does improve it a little bit, but it's also like it didn't really contribute much, and it feels like it's starting to mask a little bit of it. Yeah. Like you have to understand why the racing world do what they do. There's a reason why they add this and that. Well, like yes, for one, they have good reason. It's not an aesthetic choice. It's a performance choice. Like I've always had this thought, like Formula 1 cars look fucking stupid. They look ridiculous. They look like a cool race car that you then stepped on because they're so flat. They're like so flat. But then with like a big ridiculous tail a rear wing on it. But like I get it. That like especially the top teams, Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, they were like meticulously shaving off like half an inch from this area and then doing this with the suspension to like reduce drag, and then the way the rear wing is like it provides additional downforce on the corners, but then like it's important the way they designed the DRS system. Like it's so meticulous. Every single inch of that car has a purpose. Whereas like the people I talk about with like those ridiculous is things they just nail onto their car, it like one again it looks stupid because race cars look stupid, and then it doesn't do anything because it's just there to look like a race car as opposed to actually gain any of the benefits of a race car. It's crazy. It's hilarious, but it's crazy. I mean, even like when people take road cars to race tracks where they actually do have purposes, like someone soups up their Dodge Viper, like an upper middle class dude, or like someone brings their Corvette, someone brings their Lamborghini because they're particularly rich. Like there's reasons these cars are shaped the way they are and are as good performing as they are. Like you're not gonna get that kind of performance otherwise. Hello, I see you got the fuzzy arm warmers and staying comfy and cozy. Yeah, we're making a hot toddy. It's a hot whiskey drink and it's so delicious. It's one of my favorite drinks ever because it's so comfy. One of these days we should make spiked hot cocos too. Like I really want to try that, just spiked hot cocos. That would be really nice. Or we don't even need to get drunk for that stream, honestly. We could just make hot cocoa and chill out and just chat about stuff. I see. Yeah. Oh my god, Chi. While you're here. Oh my god, I'm so unreasonably excited. It sucks that Blue Archive is 6 months back because it's like, oh my god, I'm so excited for what showed up in JP. For one, the 6 PV came out and it's so awesome. We see all the Millennium stuff going on. We see Rio in that sexy bodysuit, and we see all these other crazy things. The 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 other thing that's a crazy getting me so riled up though is actually the Shupogaki got announced, the train twins, and I'm actually like so unreasonably excited for them. Like, they're so adorable, they're so bratty, they're so. I can't wait for that. I heard their voices and I went fucking crazy. Shupogaki, yep. Oh my god. I started like blast. Oh my god. Let's actually just real quick. Just temporary BGM change real fast. Temporary BGM change real fast. Highlander. Let me know if you can hear it. Oh my god, their theme song is so good. The the comments are as unhinged as ever. Yep, the comments are just as unhinged as ever, as expected. But man, such a hype theme song, so hype for the Shupogaki. Oh my gosh, I legitimately cannot wait. Oh, what the fuck? Where did my? There we go. There's my hat. It's crazy. We actually got a new academy that can bring like 1,000 new stories. We can have so many new events and stories told around the Highlander Academy. How the first events we're getting is the 3 Highlander students is a Highlander event. Makes sense too because the Highlander itself is important for lore reasons. Yeah, it's tough to add new academies to Blue Archive because of the way the leveling system works, and so it's like it's highly inconvenient to players to introduce a new academy because like people have been farming Trinity mats for literally years at this point. People have been farming uh people have been farming you know, Millennium, Abydos, etc. for years at this point. And then so like a new academy, like re-saying that grind is like on one hand it's good because it's like sort of puts people on equal footing again. On another hand it's bad because it's sort of like, oh man, it's like one more resource you have to deal with that's only useful for specific students. And it can get pretty frustrating, it can get pretty difficult. That all said, it is worth it for the reason you said, is that it completely opens the door to send the story in different directions, which is really good. Can't wait for Hikari, man. Yeah, she's my favorite of the 2 twins as well. She's hyper adorable in a way that's like scrambles my brain. Especially after hearing her voice. Speaking of which, I gotta play the Trinity event. The Trinity event's good. It's so stupid. It is insanely stupid. But like that's the Blue Archive way, ain't it? It's like really funny stupid. Remember seeing something related to the 6PV, and I completely agree with what I saw. I do believe Aris is one of the students that deserves a festival. That makes sense. That makes sense. She has such pro tag energy. She probably does deserve the love of being a festoon. Some of the PV would be awesome, but given we just had the Millennium Fest, it's highly doubtful. I suppose, yeah, we had like two Trinity. We could get a Millennium because we had three Abidos because of uh Uhe Hoshino. Um, two Hoshinos and Shiroko. We've had two Trinities at this point, three Trinities because Hanako. We've only had one Millennium, so I wouldn't rule out Millennium. Because like Gehenna only has one as well. Gehenna is just Hina dress, right? It's unlikely to get two fast at the same academy back to back. I suppose. We'll see though. Hopefully, I mean, like I don't disagree. Like Artis is such an important character and such a well liked character in the community that it would be nice if she got an ult, if she got a fast ult. It'd be sick though because so far Millennium has it really has. I mean, they are like overloading us with new Rio content too, understanding that there have been artists that had been waiting for Rio for so long. Rio has become some artist OC in a way, just with all the shit they do with her, and it's great. It's honestly quite great. Oh man, I actually I just thought of this. So like I said, I but due to an emergency, I had to buy a new phone, which is why perhaps there's a slight issue with my vertical camera right now, which is my phone. We could, we might actually be able to bring back gaming streams because the battery life on this phone is actually intensely good. Yeah, the battery life on this is intensely good. So we could actually like have gaming streams again and see how far we can take those because it is the we can go for longer than like 2.5 hours. Like if we wanted to read a whole Blue Archive event, we might be able to. We'll have to test it out. I'm not confident in that, and I'm not sure when I want to experiment with that. But yeah, we'll figure something out with that. New phone? Yeah, my old phone like basically killed itself. So I really needed to get a new one. Like emergency. It I couldn't actually do anything to save my old phone. So I needed to just buy a new one off the bat, which sucks. It was very expensive. Phone implosion spell. Oh god. Completely unrelated topic actually. So a little bit behind the curtain. When I a big part of my anime watching lately. So is it like 3 years or older? It was like 7 years at this point. It was time. It was time. I was already thinking about getting a new phone. Then the screen cracked. And like that the screen didn't just crack, it broke like three other features at the same time. And then so like I got it repaired and I was like, okay, the next time something goes wrong, I'm just buying a new phone. It legitimately stopped charging one day. And then so I just had to buy a new phone because it's like, well, I can't save this phone anymore. It died and I had no way to recharge it. And then yeah. And then so like it wasn't I couldn't plan it out. Oh, it's better the way I wanted to, but like the end goal was still to get new phone relatively soon, just sooner than I would have wanted. But I mean, it's a new phone with a newer model phone with better features and whatnot, and an insanely improved battery life, like I said. So, like, hopefully that means we can do some gaming streams at some point again. I don't replace my phone that often. I've gone through like within. I think I've had three phones within like a 20-year period. So like, well, the 15-year period. So it's like I am spacing them out pretty much. I'm not like one of those people who get the new iPhone every year. Like fuck no. I try to hold on to my phone as long as I possibly can. I had an iPhone like 5 for like 8 to 9 years, and then I had this and then I had my new one, which was a Samsung phone, for another 7 years. And here's hoping this next one will last at least 7 years. People be irresponsible with their money. Yeah, I'm bad. I'm bad. The way some people are irresponsible with their money, I can't even comprehend. I will impulse buy things. I will like be unreasonable with my money sometimes. I don't understand how people get as crazy as they get sometimes, especially like the iPhone every year people, when they're like common working class people like me who, well, not like me. I'm much bigger than that, but like working class people like getting obsessed about like status symbols like their phone. Like I don't get it. I just don't understand the mentality. Yeah, putting things on credit, God. Like I'm again like I'm still trying to get on top of stuff. I don't understand how people put themselves like thousands upon thousands of dollars under. Not just, no, I know it's not just a phone. That's the craziest part. It's like it's not just a phone. It's like vanity items, like purses, like clothes, like this, that, or the other. And it's like, holy moly, my guy. Mm, mm. I still have my success just for the memories and stuff. I think I still have my 5, but like I have no idea where it is anymore. I have I need to go see if I can get my previous phone fixed just so I can save some of the data on it, but otherwise I'm gonna trade that one in. Yeah, but I don't really have particular attachment to anything on there other than the fact that it was like a big pain in the ass to re-log into everything, especially setting up like two-factor authentication and whatnot. Where was I? Oh yeah, so a little peek behind the veil. And let me open up a root beer while we're on it. This one was recommended to me by Cosmic Cat. Oh God, I'm gonna just real fast. I'm gonna check my Twitter real fast because I feel bad for not remembering the name. But they recommended me a pretty nice root beer. How far back was it? Kame, Universe Cat. Kame. Yeah, Kame. Their Twitter handle is at Universe Cat. They were talking about a root beer they really liked. And so I was like, hey, what root beer do you order so I can get some? And it's like, I got their root beer and I did quite enjoy it, but I haven't tried it side by side with anything. So one sec, let me just grab it. IBC root beer. Let's see, what are the ingredients on this? Water, cane sugar, caramel color, sodium benzoate, natural and artificial flavors. I mean, that's fine. All of these have this. Quinolia extract. Okay. It's a pretty good one. Admittedly, I haven't tried a ton of root beers, but like I did like this one. Cheers. Mm, yeah. I really want to try root beer side by side at some point because I really, really, really want to make a good naughty dog. We should make a naughty dog next time. But at some point, next time I definitely want to do a mule episode. But yeah, this is really pleasant. Root beer is gotta be one of my favorites. It's soft drinks. Trying to fix my Nendos since the holding hands Bay of Aruna and Plana popped off again. Oh, that's so annoying. Yeah, a few figures of mine were falling off as well. So not excited to pay for the figure that finally came out on Ami Ami. God. Um. Yeah. So it. Poke. Be honest with me. Be honest with me. Is it the Taiho one? It's the Taiho one for me. They're finally releasing it at the worst possible time they could release it. For me. For me. Ugh. Something about the sweetness and bitter I like more than Coke. Yeah, well, it's the Rudy flavors. It's like what I learned was it was not sarsaparilla root, sassafras. Sassafras sass sassafras root is what makes root beer taste like root beer. It is the root beer. It is when you smell sassafras and when you infuse that into a liquid, that's what tastes like what it's eventually turn. That's what most tastes like what eventually turns into root beer. Root beer is all sorts of different roots. I believe it has some ginger in it too. It has sassafras root. It has genshin, genshin impact, genshin, genshin root, and it's the combination of those flavors. Now, a lot of root beers, and I think it's this one too, make a more artificial version of that, like a blend of stuff of that creates a syrup that tastes like root beer, which I'm fine with. It tastes good. Um, but like if you were getting like a legitimate, it's like homemade root beer, or it would be made by infusing roots. Nendo's? No, no, the figure for the like the swimsuit figure. That's my vanity. I am. That's my that's my stupid impulsive purchase. Finally got Rona and Plana holding hands again. Yay! God. Okay. Before I get off track again, hopefully Chibity's here. Maybe he can help enlighten me on this. Because he talks about comics a lot. One sec, blowing my nose again. My stupid items are plushies and androids. I might be getting into a plushie phase. I saw a plushie that I really liked and I had to get it, and it's been by my side for a while now. Showed out to 100 for the Shiroko and Hoshino plushie ones, and I don't regret. I really need to get just some plushies too. Hey, dude, you been good? Hakio, what's up? Holy shit! Hi. Yeah, I've been really good. We just had a couple of hot toddies, and now I'm just chasing it with some root beer. How you been doing? Where was I? Why did I summon you, Sheepity? Oh yeah, I was playing. After these streams, after I get like decently drunk, I find myself like lounging on the couch and then playing. And then we're just watching a bunch of anime on Netflix. Last week, I actually got to. I was in the mood to watch the Batman trilogy again, the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Super random, but holy shit, those movies were so fucking good. I swear to God, we're gonna be talking about those movies like 50 years from now. We're still talking about them nowadays about how good they are, and it kind of shocked me that it was like the first one was made in 2008, which feels impossible, especially because they still hold up to this day. They're still excellent. Been cooking in the literal sense, or like cooking, it's like, oh man, I've been cooking up some great ideas. I just started cooking a lot in the literal sense too. I had to teach myself how to cook after like a lot of tough circumstances. Excuse me. Woo! I think that's gotta be the root beer. It's super fizzy. Cooking and schedule one. Both nice, nice. What's on the menu? What you got on deck in both senses of the word? It wasn't so much a comics question, Chibity, as much it was just like maybe you can fill in the blanks with some stuff. Like I did have a weird, like, I was just thinking a lot about the Nolan movies. For one, it is quite funny to me that it's like Batman. Batman has his no killing policy, but he fully kills like the three main villains in all three movies. I The first one, like I with Ra's al Ghul, he he just leaves him on the speeding train, and he's like, "I won't kill you, but I don't have to save you." I guess that's a loophole, but the second movie, he kills Harvey Dent for sure because he tackles both of them. He tackles him and the boy off the building, saves the boy, but lets Harvey fall to his death. And then the third movie, he like nearly beats its Bane to death, and I'm pretty sure he leaves him for dead, but like doesn't actually finish him off. And I'm like, does any of this count? But then also like there's all sorts of stuff I want to discuss with those movies, but I'm not 100% sure where to start. I'll probably just go from the beginning, but first. Batch made pesto got covers coming. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. Pesto is amazing. I haven't actually had pesto in quite a long time. I even love the jarred pesto. Like I don't think I've ever had homemade pesto, but like even the jarred pesto is fucking delicious. And covers, man, your voice is honestly like gorgeous. Like your voice is awesome. I'm super happy that you're able to make covers because you kept talking about like a debuff, right? And so like it's why you couldn't spend too long singing. Like if you're over that now, that's fucking awesome. A dash of acid, couple old tabs of pseudo, and sprinkles of red phosphorus. Wait, what was that? Um, so remember hearing in the dev of Schedule 1 is not a great guy and included some really racist stuff in the game. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Had a 3-month window to record, but the debuff is worse now. Ah, damn. Ah, that sucks. Man, hopefully there's something that you can do about alter that. So you really honestly like you got charisma for days. You have an amazing voice. So I'm rooting for you, man. Like it's there's a lot of bad luck that seems to have gone your way, but it's, any any and all attention you get is deserved. Hope hope those covers do well. I'll make sure I tune in to spread it around because you're awesome. Different authors interpret Batman's no kill rule in different ways. There's one comic story where Batman just can't beat this one villain, so he locks him in the sewer, leaving him to die. I guess that's the whole thing of like it reminds me of like the deeply ironic non-lethal assassinations of Dishonored, where like you don't kill them directly, but what you do will basically eventually kill them much more slowly and agonizingly. People getting mad about the Indian dealer achievement. Oh, okay. To get that, you sell a product to the client and pickpocket back the product. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Unsure. I just know I'm not playing the game because I wasn't interested in it to begin with. Oh, was that statement silent banned? Or, oh, just some lag. Okay. Okay. Yeah, what else did I find weird about the Batman movies? Damn, I lost my train of thought. It was really was really thrilled to see Hakia come by, and now I just can't think of other what I was on about with the movies I was watching. I think, I guess, in a more broad sense, I do love that the Batman. I I'm not really into superhero stories, but I do think Batman would be the story I'm most uh, like. I'd the most would be the hero I'd be most interested in diving into because it does feel like the most realistic sense of a hero. Whereas like other ones, like there's a lot of plot armor you can do with battles, and there's plot armor with Bruce Wayne, given that he's rich as fuck and can have such inconceivable gadgets. But it something about a hero, a superhero with no powers, creates more intrigue because of the fact that like you have these hard limits that's that make it more likely. And then so like I think of like the whole League of Shadows segment was as him like learning more essential physical skills as opposed to like, oh yeah, uh, like a Superman movie would be just him growing the courage to use his powers to hurt people if needed and whatnot. Whereas like Batman, like it was a whole training montage that made more sense because he's human. And then like but then developing that it's a sympathetic no kill policy. Wasn't there a Batman quote that was something like, if you kill a killer, this there's a there is still an equal number of killers in the world. Part of the problem is that comic book heroes don't kill their bad guys because then comic stories don't end, but movies kill their or villains for cathartic release. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, and it does create a more powerful story with the way that uh Harvey Dent dying helps martyr him for the sake of setting up that Gotham is safe now thanks to the Dent laws, but then also messes up Gotham in a different way because like Commissioner Gordon just can't stand the idea that like, but Harvey Dent tried to kill my family. So it's a tricky stuff. Oh man, okay. With that in mind, like that's gotta be the best plot point of the Nolan trilogy was uh in the second movie, which me and my friend we were talking about this and we both agreed. Just like the Joker movie, The Dark Knight, was easily the best one. Not only was like he the Joker the best villain, and there was just all sorts of like intrigue on his scenes and all this different stuff. Like my friend told me about how like they had to reshoot the pencil trick scene over and over again to the point that the actor literally passed out because he kept getting hit on the head because that scene Joker slams his head into the desk and kills him. But like even though obviously we're not killing that guy IRL, like he is getting his head slammed into the table over and over, like it that's not gotta be not good for him. But then not only that, like the scene I was so interested in was like, okay, it was the scene where like Joker Batman's interrogating Joker, just beating the shit out of Joker, or knowing that like normal interrogation wasn't gonna work. Joker's just taunting him the whole time, laughing as he's getting hit, and like taunting him. It's like, oh, you had me fooled for a second that you were Harvey Dent, and like taking the beating, taunting him about being in love with Rachel, and like refusing to tell Batman the details of what he's done with Rachel and Harvey Dent. And then something I didn't realize is that the Joker fully tricked Batman in that scene. He's at, I'm just going to make up numbers because I forgot the exact addresses he mentions in the film. He's at 437 Baker Street, and she's at, it's 369 Mayfield Street. It's which are like in opposite directions. Batman then says, Batman storms out, going out to save one of them, and then Commissioner Gordon was like, "Hey, where are you going, Batman? And which one are you gonna save? Rachel." He chooses the selfish option. He is going for Rachel. He wants to save his love interest, not Harvey Dent, the guy he's been talking up this whole time, who might save Gotham City. But then when he gets there, it's Harvey, not Rachel. And then Rachel ends up dying in that scene because the cops don't get to Rachel in time. And it is such that, like, they don't really mention that. They don't really allude back to that. But until the third movie. where he's like clearly grieving Rachel and like super depressed. That's why he went missing for 7 years. But it was such a powerful scene to me because of the fact that I didn't realize that the Joker had tricked Batman, and it's like holy shit, that was so good. Oh my god. That was just such a clever bit of writing, and just like because they don't like make a big deal of the point that he lied to him, but he lied to him. The Joker lied to the Batman and tricked him, and got his uh, got his love interest killed because of his decision. And like that was part of the lines too, as he was taunting Batman while he was interrogating him. It's, it's like I'll make you break your one rule or something like that. Somebody once said that every one of Joker's lines is a lie. Oh yeah, he's so inconsistent in the movie, but that's like on character for him. He tells the "Do you want to know how I got these scars?" story twice, and it's a different story every both times. The first story is when he got captured by the he tricks the gangsters that say he got caught. And it's like, you want to know how I got these scars, and then puts the blade in his mouth and tells this like really sad tale about how his his father was so abusive, and then talk about how, oh, you don't love me because you don't smile enough, and then so he carved his wife's mouth to force a smile, and then he wanted to do it to himself. It's like why so serious, and let's put a smile on that face, as he's like about to kill this dude, and like deeply implying that he got those scars by like his father slicing open his cheeks. Then the second time he tells his story is like, you want to know how I got these scars, as he's talking to Rachel, and then he puts the blade into his own mouth and says, it's like, my wife tells me I don't smile enough, and so I put the blade in my mouth and I do this to myself, and now she can't stand the sight of me. And it's like, yeah, like almost like yeah, almost anything he says out loud doesn't end up coming true for the people, or from the people who were expecting truth from him, other than the fact that he was killing, other than the fact that he was gonna kill someone every night, for every night the Joker doesn't for every night the Batman doesn't reveal his identity. Yeah. The like the bank robbing scene too was like, okay, yeah, the Joker had everyone betray each other, but that was because he was trying to keep all the money for himself, and that was a clever scene too, because he was part of the heist, and it's like, oh yeah, all the clowns are betraying each other. Bozo talks about, it's like, no, Grumpy. That's actually really funny to me, but I'll get to that in a sec. Grumpy is like aiming the gun at Bozo, and Grumpy's like, he told you to kill me once we were done with the heist, didn't you? The Joker told you to kill me once we're done with the heist, didn't you? It's like, no, I killed the bus driver. Bus driver? What bus driver? Then he gets to hit. He gets hit by the bus driver. This is one of the most hilarious things to me, is that like it's a PG-13 movie, so they're not going for like something super gory and super intense. So obviously they aren't going to show someone getting brutally killed by getting hit by a bus. But the bus is so far away from him when the actor like acts like he gets hit and gets knocked over and killed. And it's like, it's really funny to me, because it's like, okay, the implication is that he got hit and died instantly. That motherfucker did not get hit. But I get it. I get it. It's a PG-13 movie. They're not trying to like show any brutal people actually dying on screen in any brutal way. And then like he ain't getting up, isn't he? And then like a Joker, Bozo rather, Bozo, doesn't guns down the bus driver, picks up all the cash, and then and what doesn't kill you makes a stranger. As he talks to the like a guy. Talking, we still on Batman? Yeah, I kind of wanted to yap about Batman because I was like super like into the movies. I was just super like invested in the movies, like really analyzing the details of every movie, just because I was bored one day, frankly. Like I said, like after these streams, I lie on the couch to sober up, like a little bit of a headache because of all the alcohol I drank, and then just watch anime usually. But in this case, I watched all the Batman movies, and I just really wanted to talk about it because Batman. I don't watch superhero movies. I do love Batman. I do love of the Batman movies, even the old ones. Like I remember the which was the one with the Jack Nicholson Joker, because that's my favorite Joker. I did actually like quite like Suicide Squad, but in a slightly ironic way. I thought that Joker had legs, but apparently they just had too much backlash. Two, Jared Leto was kind of a not good person, and so like they never actually did anything with that variant of Joker. But I actually think that variant of Joker could have been something. Did I ever turn back on my BGM? I'm sorry if I didn't. Yep, I did not. My bad. Um, no Adam West Batman. No, not that far. I'll admit I haven't watched much all of it. I've been having too many headaches lately. Drink water, T. Drink water. Try to get some medicine. I feel that way. I've been having a lot of headaches lately too, especially mostly due to colds. But yeah, try to get some. Try to, at the very least try to hydrate. I've been taking so much headache medicine. Oh man, hopefully they eventually get you. I know there's been like allergies going around lately, so hopefully it passes. Lay off the booze. I actually don't drink that much between streams anymore. I used to. It was getting really bad, but like lately I try not to. The music's a little loud. Okay, I can turn it down a little. No problem. That better? I don't want to make it too soft either, is the issue. Get some water soon? Yeah, please do that. Please do that. Apparently there's a lot of video essays about the intro of Joker's thing. That's like my friend's movie obsession. Like he's not a big movie buff like I am. Well, I'm not. Let me explain that better. Neither of us are movie buffs, but for particular movies and particular scenes, we get really obsessive over. His is that Joker scene, the one where he gets introduced. It's like you should know you bought it, and then or like the pencil trick one, and it's like, oh, we kill the Batman when he first introduces himself to all the gang leaders in Gotham. And like he's watched like so many video essays of that scene. I should probably watch one too. And it's like, it's for me, the two scenes I really obsess over are the Inglorious Bastards first scene, where the SS officer. Sorry, there's something happening. Give me a sec. I need to check on something. Okay, sorry, it was something else entirely. So good. I'm not one to skimp on hydration, so I think the weather is just kind of negatively affecting me. I've been there. I've been there. I don't think it's a weather thing, but there is some kind of bug going around where I'm at where like everyone's getting sick and staying sick because it's like, okay, I feel like I'm getting better and then someone gives me something else. So yeah, it's been a tough couple of weeks in terms of like health, but it's not like anything intense. It's just like the worst allergies. It's the worst allergies ever with just like repeated sneezing and sniffly noses. Like I'm not getting like bedridden with exhaustion and a fever or anything. No, it's just literally I'm sneezing and my nose is runny. That's the only thing wrong with me, but it's annoying. Tim Burns' Batman is the Nicholson Joker. It's also called Batman 89. I remember that not being a particularly, at least for me, I didn't particularly like the movie that much. However, that Joker is like the best Joker to me, and like, I liked his storyline the best. With new free time, I should pick up anime or show to watch, but I can't shake the feeling that watching shows or gaming is a waste of time. I think it's not as much of a waste of time lately. The gaming does feel like a waste of time. Like I try to spend. I've been needing to force myself to edit videos more just because I need to make something of my own. But like in terms of like watching shows, I don't mind that for one because I mostly do it while I'm at the gym, and then two, like I feel like I struggle to relate to a lot of VTubers because I haven't really watched a lot of anime lately, especially because VTubers tend to take up my anime time. And then so like I want to being able to watch shows helps me to relate. It's like, oh yeah, I can have something to talk about, especially because it's like it's hard for me to go out when I'm a night shifter. It's hard for me to make stories, have stories about like going to places because I'm a night shifter. Like it's there's a lot that's it's really tough, and so like the main way I can just talk about stuff and relate to is like watching a lot of shows and watching a lot of content, watching movies and stuff, so I can like have something to kind of connect with people with. Not sure what's the current trending anime I'm the out of touch. To be honest, I'm constantly out of touch on that front because I literally don't like watching ongoing anime because I hate the concept of waiting a week for an episode. Finally, someone who won't ask me what my favorite anime is. You should watch anime though at some point, T. Come on. I promise you, they're good. They're fun. Hopefully that's not getting picked up too much. If anything, like I feel like I'm more up to date with F1, which might get me in with the like Curie kilovolt, but like like I know she's deep into Formula One, and she's even whatchamacallit, she does Formula One watch longs, which I want to do too. Just the timing's off. But yeah, watching a lot of anime is like a really nice way to be able to. I just like obsessing over stuff and talking about stuff because like I'm talking about the Batman movies right now. I've yapped about Formula One. I yap about alcohol. Being able to yap about anime is something that is kind of helpful. Well, given that a lot of VTuber fans would relate to that more. And also, like, honestly, like, I used to love anime deeply, and so it's great to get back into watching anime specifically and not just VTubers. There was an F1 event in my hometown a week ago. Yeah, I know there's like F1 is a lot bigger than I thought it was. And then so like I realized, oh, actually there's a lot of F1 fans around if you look for them. Like there's an F1, there are F1 fans in every community. It is, I guess it makes sense. It is a worldwide global sport, but it's crazy. Surprised you don't touch any of the driving sims. I actually do, but not like the hardcore stuff. I used to play a ton of Gran Turismo. And then lately I played a lot of the F1 games, and then mostly I play F1 Manager, which is, you don't do the actual driving, you do everything else but the driving. So you manage your drivers, telling them, oh, you should push here, or no, conserve your tires more, conserve your fuel more, or you have to work with sponsors, you have to recruit new drivers, you have to build the parts. Like, it's everything but the driving for F1 Manager. Shame what happened to that series. Yeah, they discontinued it. But I mean, in some ways it's okay in that, like, they started to release just a ton of updates to it now that they aren't actually making new versions of the game. But yeah, it sucks that it's discontinued now. Like, the only way it lives on now is with this system. Heard it's so grindy. It is, but that's kind of the point. Like, you should be playing this for like 10 plus seasons worth, and like the whole point is that it's super grindy and it's super nitty gritty and super, frankly, tedious, because that's the point. But yeah, it's definitely not anything like, I doubt, like, if you were to stream this, even if you were a big VTuber, it would be one of your worst streams, I would bet, because it's so grindy, it's so grindy, it's so like very little interesting looking happens. It's very interesting for the player because you have to look at data the entire race in real time. You have to manage accidents when they happen. When something goes wrong, you have to like figure out a way to fix it. You have to manage strategy. You have to keep track of other drivers so you know when to undercut them, or if they've undercut you, to now try to overcut them. Like, there's a lot of strategy involved that's interesting for the player themselves, but then for the people watching, you're clicking like 4 times a minute. There's not a lot of active stuff you do in F1 Manager, whereas but even if your mind is actively working for like 2 hours straight. I mean, the latest Gran Turismo kind of killed itself for being grindy, or just meant I heard about that. I've actually not played a Gran Turismo game since Gran Turismo 4 for the PS2, but it was one of my favorite games of all time. I played like 500, 600 hours of Gran Turismo 4 probably. Like, I went crazy in that game. But yes, I have heard that like the newest Gran Turismo was insanely greedy. The economy in the game was so predatory to essentially try to force players in order to spend real world money to make in-game progress. What other weird thoughts about Batman were there? Oh yeah. I wonder. So I did wonder about like the fear toxin that Scarecrow uses in the first movie. I can't think of. I was kind of curious about this because I know not in not in fuck not in not in the Nolan trilogy, but like in other Batman movies. It was an animated Batman movie I'm thinking of. Like Joker, actually, it was in the Arkham games too. Joker has a toxin, laughing gas, which like lethally makes people laugh themselves to death. But like that's kind of plausible because of the fact that like laughing is a natural reaction. Someone tickles you, someone like, or like just something happens. It's just a natural thing that comes out of your body. It's like it's like an involuntary response. Is your body laughs when something happens to you. And then so it's plausible that like a toxin would cause Joker venom, right. It's plausible that some type of toxic gas would cause you to laugh as you're slowly dying, because like it's kind of a natural bodily response. I can't, to relate that back to the Nolan films, I can't think of us of how Scarecrow's those gas would work, because it's like, oh yeah, it makes you fearful and terrified. I mean, certainly, if you know for a fact you're getting gassed and poisoned, like you're gonna panic, you're gonna be fearful, you're probably gonna get fucked up mentally, even if you get saved physically from the gas. But I doubt that, feels a little too specific to like actually exist as something, because it's like, how do you make a fear toxin that like specifically causes you to hallucinate more specific things, like your biggest fear, or like turn people into demons, or like the plausible response was like what's his name, Moretti, whoever the mob boss was in the first movie, who Scarecrow made go crazy, and he's like, Scarecrow, because he had gone crazy from his fear toxin. And then like the natural response is like, oh yeah, the sciencey response was like, oh yeah, when people are in a deep physical mental instability, they often perceive things as like typical horror things, such as scarecrows. And that's where Scarecrow gets his name, because his victims end up seeing Scarecrow, visioning him as a scarecrow when he's done with them. Like, I've heard of bad trips coming from like LSD or something like that, but I can't. Joker venom, I feel like, is more plausible because laughing is a natural bodily response. Whatever Scarecrow's fear toxin is, I can't imagine is actually as good. Rather, is as plausible. He also goes out like a chump, I must say. It was really funny, actually. So it's like, okay, they disperse the fear toxin into the air. Everyone's going crazy. All the most horrible old people from the solitary get to put out into the streets, and like innocent civilians are shooting at each other, and like the actual criminals who have been let loose are doing crazy stuff to people. But then like you see Scarecrow chasing Rachel, and like fear, like causing the little boy fear, and like she's scared or too. But then like Rachel just shoots him with with her taser, and then he just fights off and like goes out like a chump. I'm like, oh my god, it's such an anticlimactic way to like get rid of Scarecrow for this movie. I know he wasn't the main villain, Ra's al Ghul was, but like Scarecrow went out like a chump. Fear Venom and Joker Venom reminds me of MGS4 emotion ammo. They did sort of no, actually, did they? Did they ever explain that? I don't remember them ever explaining how that works, but I do remember like your tranquilizer gun. You could also load with like scream ammo or crying ammo, and like it would, those emotions would affect your targets differently. The internet says theoretically possible, but the amount of whatever chemicals would be so high it would put whoever was exposed at risk of death from heart failure or shock. Also, an injection would be more effective than a gas. That makes sense to me. Yeah, because like that was the thing with, to bring it back to alcohol, absinthe. Reason why it was banned is because people thought it was a hallucinogen. And like, oh yeah, you drink absinthe, it makes you go crazy, it makes you hallucinate things, it's like highly dangerous and toxic to you because it has wormwood, which is dangerous. It really isn't. The amount of absinthe you would need to drink to start hallucinating, to let the wormwood do its thing and make you go crazy and hallucinate and all that. You're more likely hallucinating and seeing visions because you're dangerously alcohol poisoned. And you are about to die from alcohol poisoning. And you would die from alcohol poisoning before any of the supposed toxic effects of the wormwood inside of absinthe. Which is why absinthe was re-legalized. Because it's like, nothing in it is that, like, almost this was a great quote from Blue Archive, actually, from the Seven Criminals girl Kai, who was outlawed for all of her tonics that ended up hurting people. Drugs, medicine, and poison are two sides of the same coin. That's sort of the thing with absinthe. People thought it was poison. It's no more poisonous than usual alcohol. Alcohol is made with all sorts of stuff, and we talked about the toxins that can make you blind if you don't cut off the head of your alcohol or the tail of your alcohol. Like, there's tons of dangerous stuff with alcohol already. What's in absinthe doesn't actually add to that risk. Scream ammo and crying ammo, my individual. That's just normal bullets. Too right, mate. Too right. You're so right. Yeah. Normal bullets would probably make you scream and cry with how much they hurt. But in specifically MGS4, they're like emotion bullets. Like there's a character called Screaming Mantis. There's a character named Crying Wolf. There's a character named Raging Raven. And what was the fourth one? Laughing Octopus. And then so you had specific bullets that if you shot your enemies with it, it would impart that emotion on them and it would debuff them in a very specific way. But I don't think they ever really explained it in MGS4. They only explained why Laughing Octopus laughs all the time. Why Raging Raven was so angry. Why Crying Wolf is always crying. Why Screaming Mantis is always screaming. So, yeah. It overloads the nano machines, right? Oh yeah, they did mention that, actually, right? Because the first time they deactivate the nano machines in Guns of the Patriots, yeah, as you say, they suppress the emotions, and then so like if they had a lot of pent up anger, they would just silently when the nano machines deactivate, all that pent up anger gets let out. All that pent up sadness gets let out. That's that pent up madness that causes them to laugh that gets let out. All that pent up sorrow that causes them to cry gets let out. Because normally, yeah, to make the PMC very hard in combat. So, right. Because civilians were joining PMCs now because at that point, like, it was just a war economy. Just people joining PMCs because it's a good job. I guess only half of them were alliteration, but still, for laughing lemur, yeah, they're not used to it. Yeah, it's really fucked up. Like, there's so many themes, and there's so many themes in MGS that aren't even talked about. That's how like deep it goes. Johnny didn't get heavily impacted because he was grown in it, molded by it. We could skip to that, sure. Let's. Well, okay. Yeah, we might as well. We just skip to it. I did wonder why Bane had such a weird accent because, like, in every other iteration of Bane in the Batman stories, was as he's a Mexican Titan dealer, right? Like, Titan was that like weird super steroid, and so like Bane himself injects himself with the Titan formula, and he becomes big and strong, and he's the one who broke the bat, right? I mean, that was true of the Nolan films too, but like he broke Batman's spine, and then yeah, it sounds cartoonish, and yeah, it's iconic. Yeah, it's so weird, that accent that Tom Hardy went with for that Tom Hardy went with for that. But apparently he did explain it. So he apparently when they were like discussing the vocal direction with like the director or something, they were like, "Oh, we could do like a normal deep voice Darth Vader type voice, or we could do," and then he talked about like how like this Romanian it was like it was like a Fight Club thing where it's like these Romanian pit fighters, and the strongest one had this like crazy accent, but like he was the strongest and no one questioned him, and so and he sort of sounded like this, and he spoke in metaphor the way like the Dark Knight Rises Bane does. So like that Bane is so much different from any other Bane in any other Batman story I've ever heard. But also, like, he was a cool character. I just wondered what the fuck was up with that accent. What the fuck was up with that voice? But like now that he explained it, it's like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. There is a reasonable cultural reason for that voice. It still sounds weird. But removing this mask would be very painful for you. Bane is supposed to be Latin American, from a made-up island, if not necessarily Mexican. Okay. I know he was like South American, aggressively South American in like basically every cartoon I've ever seen Bane in. The steroid is also called Venom. When is it called Titan then? Because I know it's called Titan in something. It got adapted into the Harley Quinn cartoon. The different Bane. How is Batman still a superhero if his spine is broken? Is he just in a wheelchair now? No, he got better somehow. He repaired his spine. In The Dark Knight Rises, it was just fractured, which would still, I'm pretty sure, paralyze you. Yeah, or if it doesn't paralyze you, it like permanently cripples you still. But like, I guess it's fixable. But not in the circumstances he was in, where he was in the pit. Yeah, superhero plot armor moment. Yeah. the- with other versions of Batman, not the Nolan Batman, you could always lean back on the, well, he's rich. Well, he's rich. He'll find a way to fix himself. It was also very funny to me that the actual Steelers were in the Bane movie. If you remember how, like, when Bane does his thing and like starts blows up like half of Gotham to like trap Gotham, and then so he and then like trap all the police underground, and then so like he puts and then like that also causes like the football field to collapse. All those football players are real football players. That was the Steelers at the time. So you see Ben Roethlisberger, you see Heinz Ward, you see I forget which other players were there, but you see all the real life Pittsburgh Steelers in playing in that game. Heinz Ward is the one recovering the kickoff before like everything collapses, but like it's actually but they're now the Gotham City whatevers. But they look like the Bumblebee out uniform that the Steelers sometimes use. I only learned that recently in the comics, Batman's spine was healed by a physical therapist with mutant healing powers. That's kind of lame, actually. Like, I don't mind, like, pseudoscience plot holes for the sake of, like, making something magical that still sounds plausible the way a lot of science fiction works, because like I like Railgun, Toru Kakaku no Railgun, that anime. Like it's all about like magic. Like it's like no one can shoot rail guns from their fingers. No one can like actually mind control people with a remote control, but they make a pseudoscience sort of thing to make it work. And then so like it's it's bullshit, it's obvious bullshit, but at the very least they pretend like there's a scientific reason why the characters have powers. I kind of don't like like that. So like Batman was healed by some magic mutant healing powers. There's something in 2 I wanted to talk about as well. I'm forgetting what it was though. Oh, actually, yeah. Okay. I actually found the quote right here. So it was the end of. I mean, it's more of a episode 2 thing, but Dark Knight, the Dark Knight thing, but it's the end of Batman Begins, and it was. What about escalation? Escalation. We start carrying semi-automatics. They buy automatics. We start wearing Kevlar. They buy armor-piercing rounds, and you're wearing a mask, jumping off rooftops. Now, take this guy. Armed robbery, double homicide. Got a taste for the theatrical like you. Leaves a calling card. And the calling card is a playing card that is a Joker. Absolute cinema. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. That was the funny thing I wanted to discuss back with the opening scene of Dark Knight. I always find it funny, and this happens in Star Wars. Yes, this happens in Star Wars like all the fucking time, in fact. I love seeing the names of specific characters whose names are never mentioned and are not relevant. So, you know how in the beginning of Dark Knight, the the bank robbers are all wearing clown masks, and then they all die other than the Joker, because the Joker ordered everyone to betray each other, and then the Joker himself reveals himself and then betrays the last guy. They all had names, actually. All those bank robbers. They're not relevant because they obviously died, don't come back later, and their involvement, the only point of their involvement was to emphasize how crazy the Joker is. And then so like they don't, their names are not, or they do have names. Their names are the expression of their mask. So like the guy with the happy clown's mask is named Happy. The one with the frowning one was called Sad. The one that the Joker was disguised as was Bozo. The one that had an angry face was called Grumpy. And then so like in the subtitles and then indeed in the credits, those actors are listed as like Happy, Sad, Grumpy, well, not Bozo because that was the Joker. Like all the emotions, because there was like 6 robbers. There's 5 non-Joker robbers, and I just found it so funny that like they all had names. It's one of my favorite trivia facts because like they all had names, but they're not relevant. And they're not mentioned in the movie itself. Like no one ever says this robber is named Happy, this robber is named Grumpy. But when you read the subtitles or when you read the end credits, they are credited as Happy and Grumpy and etc. That happens in Star Wars too as well, whereas it's like, I think it's in episode 1 when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are in, like when they had snuck onto that cruiser, the 2 robots that greet them early on, who have no significance in the story, who are only, they talk to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan just once during that opening scene, and their names are never mentioned. They do have names, as it turns out. Yeah, they do have names, and I forget their names. It was like, it's not C-3PO, because that one's an actually significant one, but it was that same sort of naming sense, like C number letter number. Or like in the cantina during one of the original trilogy for episode 4, 5, and 6, like or during the Jabba the Hutt scene, like all those random characters like Max Rebo or like other characters in the background who say something on the camera in some incomprehensible alien language, and then but then have no other plot significance ever, like are credited and have names, but like you would never know. Because they don't mention it in over the course of the like hour and a half. I feel like if you called an actual mutant a mutant, they'd probably be offended on the level of a slur, probably. That was part of the point, though, wasn't it, of X-Men? Is that, like, it's... I think Deadpool, in one of the most recent... was it Deadpool 2 or Deadpool and Wolverine? Like, he jokes about that. It's like we're an outdated allegory for racism. And it's... because the idea is that like all the mutants are outcasts. They don't belong. People make fun of them at school. People discriminate against them. Much like unfortunately it happened in real life to minorities. And then so it's like it is a kind of an allegory where it's like, oh, these are actually amazing people with amazing powers, the ability to change things for the better, but they're mutants, so people just look at them as freaks. And like it is an important thing, and so like I do honestly think they would be treated like calling them a mutant like that would be pretty disrespectful to them. As a result of Batman's healing Batman's spine, the therapist's psychic powers also caused her to mentally regress to a child, so he had to institutionalize her. What the heck? I didn't read that earlier. I thought that was something else. Holy crap, that's weird. Oh wow, it's almost 4 a.m. Is it? Holy crap, how long have I been yapping for? It's a... I'm not even like... I don't think I've even talked about like half the Batman stuff I want to talk about. I genuinely do not care about superhero movies. However, like the Nolan films just like make me think so much because like Batman is one of the few actually interesting superheroes to me. I really do like unironically love Batman. I really need to deep dive into one of them eventually, especially because like has there ever been a good movie with Robin or Nightwing? Not a live action one. I remember there's one with Robin and it sucked. But like Robin, like from what I've learned, like from the little I know from comics, because I used to have a friend who was deeply into comics, was like I think Robin is like one of the most interesting characters too. That's actually one of the things I wondered about was like why is Batman's sidekick named Robin? Robin, every version of Robin from Dick Grayson to Tim, I keep forgetting their name. I keep wanting to say Pool or Chemnitz, but that's a right wing influencer and that's a F1 driver. Tim Drake. That sounds about right. Like why is Robin why is Batman's sidekick a Robin? We have different Robins with different backstories, but why do we specifically call the Batman sidekick Robin? Because I remember thinking this at the time too, because I was talking to someone else. I kept thinking that Catwoman's name was Black Cat because in my mind she was just Black Cat, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot Black Cat was in this movie. And it's like, did you mean Catwoman? And then I started cracking up because I forgot that fucking DC Comics and Marvel is bad at this too, but DC Comics especially is so unclever with their name. They're so unclever with their names. And so, like, yeah, Catwoman is, like, so straightforward. Batman at least makes sense, especially in the Nolan films, because it's like, okay, they didn't really make it... obviously, it's still a superhero movie in presentation and all sorts of things, but the Nolan films do a really good job of, like, humanizing Batman to the point that it's like, yes, it still looks and feels like a superhero movie, but the backstory makes it feel like more than a superhero movie because of the fact that like they build up, oh yeah, Bruce Wayne, like he's so depressed, he's trying to cope with being orphaned, and like sure, he can still live a comfortable life because he's rich, he's literally a billionaire, but like he's been living with this grief this whole time. He doesn't know how to process it. And then so like he does all this stuff. He wants to take revenge on his parents' killers. He wants to live as a criminal to see what it's like. He wants to train to be able to punish criminals. And then he gets over his phobia of bats that he developed as a kid. And thus, as he dresses like a bat, he makes weapons that are bat-shaped to scare his enemies with his same phobia, and therefore people start to know him as Batman. So like it makes sense for Batman to be named Batman even in an organic way. The other characters are pretty. The villain names are actually kind of cool. Two-Face is a cool villain name, even if it's literal with him literally having two faces. Like he has a cool vibe to him. Joker is like, again, straightforward but actually kind of cool. But like Catwoman, oh my god, that's so uncreative. Original Batman was just the Shadow, who was a radio and pulp novel vigilante with pistols. Oh yeah, I know they had to like develop Batman for a while, and that's like the Thomas Wayne Batman too, right? Like, wasn't there was like an alternate history? It was a Flash movie that might, well, the Flash, not like the system, the Flash thing, but like the superhero The Flash had this thing where it's like he went into a different timeline where Bruce Wayne died. And so Thomas, what was the wife's name? Barbara? Was it Barbara? Thomas Wayne becomes Batman. Barbara Wayne, or the wife, becomes the Joker because she went crazy over her son's death. And then Thomas Wayne was like trying to stop all the crimes and like suddenly just like felt the need to kill all the criminals, and so he actually uses guns and shit. Martha. Right. I actually should know this because there's that really shitty like Batman versus Superman thing. Some people would think he only really became Batman after he got Robin, which came within the first year of his run, I think. Oh, okay. Yeah, I still don't know. I know for the Nolan films, they tease Robin. It's a shame it's only a trilogy because I would have been interested in what this interpretation of Robin could have been, because it was that cop, right? It was the cop who was like deep sense of justice, like charismatic kid, orphan kid, trying to help that orphanage that used to be funded by the Wayne residents, and like all this, and like not compromising on his ideals, but like feels restricted by the laws of the police, the rules you have to follow in the police force. And then like you get teased at the end of like, okay, he's quitting the force, but he still has that sense of justice. And then you hear that his other name, because he doesn't use that name, he's been referred to by a different name this whole movie, but it turns out his name was Robin. And it was like, ooh, that would have been that would have made for a spicy story, but alas, the Nolan trilogy ends there. Publishers want to have a recurring villain to market. Like first rendition of Batman was Punisher in a way. The original Batman used to kill, but apparently Karens at the time were complaining about it. And yeah, Chibity mentioned this before. If you kill the villain, then that story ends. So they need to stay alive so that they can continue doing villainous acts and then keep the story going. I do appreciate that that's another reason I love Batman media too, is because like they do lean into that mechanic a lot, because obviously like from a meta perspective, like it's because the comic publishers want to make more money and therefore the story needs to continue. But in a less cynical view, in order to like actually make it make sense, because like, you know, like at some point you should just kill the Joker, Batman. Like he's gonna continue. He's not gonna learn. You have to kill him at some point just to stop him. Like some people deserve it. But I do appreciate that they lean into that with the fact that the Joker is characterized not necessarily just that he's a murderous psychopath, but the fact that it's like his whole goal in life. And like once again, the Nolan films do this, and like every iteration of Joker does this, is like The Joker is obsessed with the Batman. The Joker is super obsessed with trying to get Batman to break his one rule. And then so it's like they lean into it super hard of like the Joker is the way he is because he has this long-standing rivalry with Batman, and therefore that dynamic is super cool. The Joker can change, but it requires Batman to die, and then the Joker would lose his goal in life and start to become a normie. That makes sense. Like his whole goal in life is to just like break the bats in a sense. Oh man, it really makes me want to play the Arkham games again too. The Arkham games are really, really good. Yeah, the first one was the Arkham Asylum. I'm not sure I ever played Arkham Asylum. I did play Arkham Asylum, I think, and I definitely played Arkham City. I never played Arkham Knight, which was the prequel. There was a comic story called Go Insane, and then he ironically became the Batman that laughs. Oh my goodness. That's a weird one. I think that's why he is. Because I honestly, a huge reason I'm not into superhero stories is like they keep rehashing the same stories over and over and over and over again. And especially with the heroes that have powers like Superman, the Flash, like those kind of guys. The reason why Batman is an interesting one is like, okay, you have templates for what they should be. Bruce Wayne, depressed, phobia of bats, depressed because of parents dying, warped sense of justice that makes him want to hunt criminals dressed as bats. Joker, like clinically insane, in sociopathic or psychopathic, I forget the difference. Let's say psychopathic, because I think sociopathic is not caring about people and psychopathic is like more generally crazy. Obsessed relationship with the Batman, and it's like you have templates for all the characters in Batman, but you can remold them and reshape them into any context you want. And then so like you can make a different version of the Batman story that still has the right feel for Batman, but is like a completely new story. Like the Nolan trilogy is nothing like anything the comic Batman is like, but it still feels 100% like Batman. The Joker still feels 100% like Batman. Two-Face feels like Two-Face, etc. Bane still feels like Bane, even though he's not Latin American. Like all that kind of stuff. And so like I think that's why I enjoy Batman, especially with like changing technology too. What might have been advanced in the 50s is not advanced in the 2000s, but like modern movies reflect that. Oh, Batman would have access to this kind of technology these days because he's a rich billionaire. We'll give him that now. We'll give him this now. We'll give him this now. Maybe in like 2077, when if they still make Batman movies way in 2077, they'll make it like a version of Batman that makes sense for that time period. Robin was inspired by Robin Hood versus the Bird, like going back when Robin Hood was treated like a swashbuckling adventure hero. Oh, okay, that tracks. That makes sense. I've never really been able to latch onto superheroes as a thing as well. Yeah. I have a lot of trouble, like, really. I get the messages that they're trying to send, but I feel like they fall short because of the fact that they have superpowers. And it's like having superpowers makes it difficult to like actually like it. Because it's fantastical, it's fiction, and so it's like hard to do. Whereas Batman, the whole point is he doesn't have powers, so he has to make do. And yes, they can lean on the plot points that, well, he's a billionaire. He has any gadget he can possibly want. But, like, he's still confined to the human limits. For me, I just don't find them interesting. Yeah. That's sort of like the more concise and more blunt version of what I'm saying. Is like it's hard to feel super attacked. It's hard to really feel the message they're trying to tell you when they have superpowers. I did still find it ironic that it's like what was something that Batman said? Let me look into it real fast. Shit. Okay. Eto. Whoa. What the hell? Somewhere around here. Sorry for the dead air. There's something I wanted to talk about, but I forget. Bruce Wayne is still a bit of a carry stew, like besides being super rich, but he's also super sure, yeah. He's like the maxed out human because I think there is something about this with like L versus I mean, I don't know how seriously y'all take death battles, and they are sometimes quite unserious. But like Bruce Wayne does have some ridiculous is plot armor in the form of like he somehow knows things that people shouldn't know. Like, yeah. I do like The Incredibles, but that's just because it's a really good movie. They also do a good job of humanizing the characters. Like, okay, the Mr. Incredible is an incredible human being. He's a superhero, but then like they have him working a fucking office job at some point because it's like, oh yeah, like, do we really need superheroes? It's something that comes up a lot with Batman specifically, is like the concept of escalation, as we talked about. Like, because Batman exists, villains feel the need to like one up them because it's like, oh, he's doing all this, we need to get even more extreme. Oh, Batman literally gets a tank, so we're gonna get like missiles and whatnot and commit extreme acts of terror. And it's like the escalation is super crazy. I mean, superheroes are basically American shonen. Like, are you supposed to identify with Goku? Won't lie, I'm not that into shonen myself either. Like, I don't like. I struggle to get into those kinds of shows. I tend to like more slice of lifey stuff, or like crime drama stuff or whatnot and stuff, like super. It's why I don't like mecha either, because it's such an implausible. Mecha is a super implausible form of technology, and like I don't like the sort of like superhuman type stuff because it's hard for me to really relate to that, you know. That's why I mentioned people relate more to Spider-Man due to Peter's life is very relatable. I remember you talking about that. I forgot to read that out. My bad. But yeah, Spider-Man is a really cool superhero. I did like the Spider-Man, some of the Spider-Man movies. Which one was the original ones in like the 2000s? with like the really dorky Spider-Man. I forget. You also see this with Saitama. Oh yeah, like I remember that workout YouTuber I talked about, Jax Blade. He talked about like how Saitama's exercises would give you his body. Goku's based on Wukong. There's a sense with Goku then. For those who watch Dragon Ball, people would appreciate how much he trained and grow. My favorite shonen is To Love. Oh god. Sure, like yeah, there's still character progression and like show any movie or show with even if they're superhuman with good character progression will be a good show. It's just hard for me to like relate to like superhero like anything superhero based, whether it is a shonen, whether it's a shonen anime, whether it is a superhero movie or whatnot. It wouldn't grip me from that alone. It needs to have good character development. Like I really like Magneto, for instance. Oh, here's the line. Here's the line. The idea was to be a symbol. Batman could be anybody. Bruce, I don't think people have the resources to be Batman the way you're Batman. Like that, I get it because he is a human being who's like bound to human being rules, but also like he is wicked smart, he is wicked strong, he is and he's a billionaire, so he can afford all these gadgets. Whereas like the Batman wannabes from the Dark Knight, they kind of had to use guns and wear like hockey pads and whatnot because they didn't have the technology Batman has to be able to fight or the time and to be able to train the way he did to like non-lethally beat up oodles of bad guys. Like I don't think anyone can be Batman, Bruce, but I also understood the point of that statement. I don't mean to demean the point, but also, not everyone could be Batman, unfortunately. Food Wars is also a shonen. If you're gonna hit me with the actuallys with all these technicalities, because I do quite like Food Wars. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what a shonen is because like I forget the exact definition of shonen. Mocking Key, oh my god, that's the Takeda Hiromitsu one, right? Ugh. I don't know what I'm gonna watch next. I'm probably gonna watch the Gotobun movie because I love Gotobun. That was my first like Netflix binge watch, and oh my god, Gotobun was so awesome. It was super cute. Oh my god, I'd like there. I don't tend to get hyper attacked. Well, maybe I do because I have quite a few very strong waifus, but like I try not to get hyper attached to anime characters. But man, Miku from Gotobun is so fucking cute that like I'm like I can feel it. I get super parasocial towards specific characters like Helm from Nikkei, like Miku from Gotobun. Like there are certain characters I just get hyper attached to sometimes. It's almost 4:10 now. I should be getting ready to bed. Sorry for keeping you up all this time, Chi. Have a good rest. I'm surprised I managed to stay live this long, just chatting because I honestly wasn't sure how long this stream would be. I honestly expected it to be just an hour-long stream. Just get back into the groove of things, get back into streaming a little bit. But I had a lot of talk about it turned out. I know people referring to shonen as in like Naruto, Bleach, My Hero Academia. In Japan, shonen is a target audience genre. Like shoujo aims for girl audience. Shonen aims for young boys. Right, right. It is much more broad than that. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh no, it's fine. My sleep schedule was so awful. I'm basically getting ready for bed at 5 a.m. with how much I do beforehand. I mean, I'm getting that way, but I'm night shift, so I'm supposed to stay up all night, but I'm like staying up too late into the day these days, and it's kind of bad, to be honest. Like the term anime in Japan means any anime works. Anime is just like katakana, right? And then it just refers to any animation, right? It doesn't necessarily mean Japanese sourced anime. It's sort of like there is an argument for people saying like why can't I spin this? There's sort of the argument that people, or on a technical standpoint, say like, oh, Avatar is an anime. Avatar: The Last Airbender is an anime because it's not made in Japan. But it's also like, does that distinction matter? Because I know there's a streamer or a YouTuber recently who made their own manga, and it like reads right to left. It's very manga-esque in terms of like the way they present characters, the way they're drawn, etc. But it's made from someone Western. Does that still count as manga? It's not. It didn't originate in Japan. It depends. I'm not sure how to do it if there isn't like a legal standpoint for it, because I know, like, legally speaking, bourbon can only ever be made in America. Um, ten- Tennessee whiskey obviously could only ever be made in Tennessee. Scotch whiskey can only be made in Scotland, or like champagne, legally speaking, can only ever be made in Champagne, France. Champagne is a place in France, not just the bubbly liquid. And then so it's like um any I need to remember the name of it, but there is a name for like bubbly wine that is made the exact same way as champagne. However, or because it wasn't made directly in Champagne, it doesn't count as champagne. Why do we have legal stuff about where certain alcohols can only be made? Why we don't have legal stuff for like Chinese food only being made in China? What gives? Legal because of what alcohol does to people. You need to follow strict guidelines for alcohol so that like you can't make bathtub gin, like, which is highly dangerous for people. I've talked about it before. Like, if you make alcohol the wrong way, you can blind people. If you make alcohol the wrong way, you can straight up kill people. If you make alcohol the wrong way, you can explode buildings. And not only that, let's say you are on the up and up. It is important to be able to legally define what type of alcohol you're making so that it's easy to make sure everything's on the up and up. So like bourbon is specifically 51% corn, 51% or more corn. So it has to be primarily corn, aged in new barrels, etc., etc. Rye, 51% or more rye, etc., etc. Yeah. And then with Scotch, like, it's not just that Scotch legally has its own definition. Like Scotch whiskey is so much different from American whiskey. And not just that, different islands of Scotland make their whiskeys different ways. Like Isla scotches are so much different from even other scotches, let alone other whiskeys, because these taste like liquid fire. Like people talk about like, oh, it burns when it goes down when you drink alcohol if you're not used to drinking alcohol yet. It's this actually tastes like a fire. Like imagine what a fire smells like. That's what this tastes like. In fact, oh, it smells like a delicious fire. It smells like a campfire is what it smells like. It's like you're next to you're like next to you're next to the seashore, but like far enough away, but you're getting like the ocean breeze, the salty ocean breeze. And you're like cooking something on a spit. Yeah, and it tastes like, oh, it's so peaty. It's like burnt. It tastes the way like the burning wood smells when you're like making a campfire. Oh, it's really good. Along with other complexities, like if that's all it tasted like, that actually wouldn't be that great. But it's the fact that it's mixed in with like a lot of other like stuff. And yeah, there is literally I could try every possible whiskey I could find in America. Nothing would ever taste like that because Scotland just makes it so much differently, and it matters like their laws in Scotland too, like how they make it too. So it's like their rules are different from ours, and therefore like we just straight up couldn't make scotch over here. I guess fair, but I think being restricted to certain states is a little bit silly. It's not actually. So most like you can make bourbon almost anywhere in the world, almost anywhere in America. The reason Tennessee gets its own rules is because they kind of grandfathered in a lot of stuff. Like they have their own. They've had their own like alcohol rules for a while, and then they also have their own distilling process that's like exclusive to Tennessee, that they make it their way and have always made it their way. And then there's also like specific laws in Tennessee that I think are more lenient than the rest of generally America, which is why like there's specifically Tennessee whiskeys and then there's other whiskeys. Most of our whiskey is made in Kentucky, but also like you can make it anywhere. There's California whiskeys, there's Wyoming whiskeys. Well, to be specific, if you distill, fermenting alcohol is rather safe. Yeah. There isn't really much Batman stuff. I left some stuff on the table, but I forget what they are, and they're probably not as important, or like I can't talk that deeply on it. But Japan won't recognize the sword shape like a katana as a katana. Off topic, but still in topic. Oh, so if you don't make it a katana in Japan, it's not a katana, even if it's shaped exactly like a katana. It has to be made out of tamahagane and follow traditional smithing method in order to get called a katana and get a certificate. Wow. Interesting. Very, very prideful there. Actually, I did hear about something like shit. Shit. Fuck. I there's like a legendary swordsmith, like way the fuck back to the Sengoku era, and their family has lived on to this day, and so they like that swordsmith has lived on to this day, and like they continue taking students and whatnot, but like the best sword crafter was not a Japanese person. And here's the thing, they like if I recall correctly, they live in Japan. They speak Japanese. They don't like, I think they're Brazilian, but it's like through and through they are Japanese in every way other than they were not actually born in Japan. And they don't have a Japanese family heritage. But he trained under this family line of swordsmith that dates all the way back to the Sengoku era. And like his swords are so perfect, they're so finely honed, they're so perfectly crafted that like slowly, just slowly, if you were to like run a knife, like run his blade through a fruit, like he could just slice anything in he could slice anything like butter without even using much force. And it's crazy. What was his name? Jetstream Sam. The weakest Brazilian male. No. I forget. My friend told me this story, but he was like this super fascinated by it because the actual like family member, the guy descended from this legendary family. Like he's not nearly the swordsmith. Like he's practicing, he's trying to be a master swordsmith himself, but he's not nearly as good as this non-Japanese person who like mastered making blades that are so sharp that even if you just move the blade slowly, it will cut through anything. And it's like, it's a really frustrating thing because it's like, it's sort of like a Japan thing of like oh, they're so mired in their traditions that it's like you can't let him live on the legacy, even though he's like the swordsman who he's the swordsmith rather who like is best fulfilling his this family legacy. But it's also like I don't know. Back to Tennessee whiskey. I wonder if it's like that too. I forget the exact rules of it. I go to How to Drink. He's the YouTuber I refer to all the time. How to Drink is his channel name, and he's done an episode like a few years ago at this point where he was like the basics of whiskey, and he explains every kind of whiskey. He explains the legal definition of bourbon and taste test some bourbons, the legal definition of rye and taste test some rye, the legal definition of corn whiskey, names out corn whiskey, the legal definition of scotch, and try some scotch whiskeys. And then so he goes and he does mention Tennessee and tries at least one Tennessee whiskey, and there's a reason why Tennessee has its own brand, whereas like yes, most other whiskey is made in Kentucky, but you can make it anywhere in the United States. But Tennessee is its own thing because there's something unique about Tennessee law, if I recall correctly. In order to get that label, it has to follow certain procedures in order to get that recognition. Yeah, I completely forget. I'm gonna rewatch that because I'm curious, and I do need to like do my own research, and then like I'm gonna use his as a base, and then do my own research of like whiskeys and stuff for whenever it is I finally do the is all whiskey the same, is all rum the same, etc. Yeah, he's done that kind of deep dive before. And so I want to watch that again because I'm curious about it too. I remember distinctly that there's something unique about Tennessee whiskey, but I just can't remember what it is. Or just use AI. I'd rather not. I want to see it for myself. Especially because like there was a funny AI incident recently. Nyaru, I think it was talking about like really getting pissed off about a certain HoloLive event that happened because they talked about an HP event, but HP in this instance standed for Hello Pro, which I guess, given the context, I'm assuming it's like some idol group. Unfortunately I'm completely ignorant on the ways of true idol culture, not the type of idol culture people complain about all the time, but like actual idol culture. I'm not well versed in actual idol culture, and so like HP, they did it an HP event, and what it really stands for is Hello Pro, which is apparently a very respected thing in the idol industry. AI, when describing the event, refer to it as a Harry Potter event because the only HP the AI knows is Harry Potter. And so, like, I doubt, like, I don't want to make that kind of a mistake when doing my research because the AI just went with the most popular thing and not what I'm actually looking for. This is what AI gave to me. I know Google has their own AI thing too, which isn't the worst given with like non-serious stuff, because if you look at the top 4 articles, it's basically just summarizing the top 4 articles is the Google search. So Tennessee whiskey is different. It's distinct from other types of whiskey such as bourbon due to a specific process called the Lincoln County process. I have heard of that, but I still need to rewatch the video to remember what exactly that entails. The process involves filtering the freshly distilled spirit through sugar maple charcoal before it's aged in new charred oak barrels. The filtration step is believed to give Tennessee whiskey a smoother and lighter flavor compared to bourbon. Honestly, I need to try better Tennessee whiskey. The only Tennessee whiskey I've tried is Jack Daniel's, which is fucking garbage. I'm sorry to say, it's fucking garbage. I used to love JD Tennessee honey. I used to slam that shit. I thought it was so delicious and so good. As it turns out, it's bad whiskey that's flavored with honey to make it palatable. I remember I used to be in love with Jack Daniel's Tennessee honey, and then I stopped drinking it for a while because I stopped being an alcoholic. I got into mixology, and then I found an old bottle of Tennessee honey that I had lying around. I tried it, and I was like, oh my god, it's nasty as fuck. And as it turns out, it's like, yeah, it doesn't hold up now that I actually have a taste for alcohol. A taste of good whiskey. But like, as mentioned, like Tennessee whiskey is a unique product compared to like most bourbons, most ryes, etc. And so I need to try that and Canadian whiskey, because Canadian whiskey is very much like rye but slightly different too, because during Prohibition, whiskey's obviously outlawed. Our neighbors up top in Canada were making pretty good rye. Well, not technically rye. So rye is an American product that has its rules and is primarily rye flavored. Canadian whiskey is very much like rye, and it's why America generally has a taste for rye, because as Canadian whiskey is very highly rye flavored. If we were to classify Canadian whiskey under American rules, it would 100%. It would not what I'm throwing numbers in the air. It would very likely be classified as rye here. In fact, like very intensely rye. It would be like mostly rye. Holy crap, I've been streaming for a long time. I didn't realize I was capable of this. Is this my power? Oh. But yeah. I've run out of things to talk about. I don't... not really sure what else to discuss now that I've kind of Batmaned myself out. I've kind of... I could talk about alcohol all day, but like I want to have focused streams about that. I asked the AI which brand is the best Tennessee whiskeys. Jack Daniels and Jack Daniels is probably the most popular because it's one of the cheapest. Like that's the issue with like getting people into mixology is everyone thinks like the stuff everyone uses is all the cheap stuff that like literally everyone knows about because it's the cheap stuff that you bring to parties. And so like that's why it's hard to convince people. No, it can actually taste good. You just have to get higher up. Like these are like $25 a bottle, which is like so the bomb shelf stuff is like 15 to 20 bucks, 15 to 19.99. Actually good stuff, the mid-tier stuff would be like 20 to 40ish. And then after that you're getting into pretty premium stuff. Absinthe is always premium, like they're $60 a bottle, which is why I don't really get absinthe that much. Jim's Jim Beans. Oh god, I remember Jim Beans. That's so nasty too. I had it at like a party once and it was just like so gross. Chattanooga whiskey, Uncle Nearest. Yeah, when I go on my bottle run, I'll definitely try looking at the Tennessee whiskeys. Talking about superhero names before, a lot of it depends on the writer. Batman, and specifically, you have to keep in mind that the original was heavily influenced by Dick Tracy. Forgot when Dick was a more common name as opposed to like a rude word. No one calls Richards Dick anymore. What's the best whiskey I've ever had? Old Granddad's up there. I do really like Old Granddad. Just so complex. It's decently complex, but also very accessible. So it's like, okay, you drink it as a relatively new drinker, and it's an explosion of flavor, but it's like just really plainly good. But it's also like but it's also got like a bunch of layers to it that's quite good. I have had Hibiki, which is like $90 if I recall correctly for Japanese whiskey. I forget where I put it. It's really quality stuff, and I find that like Japanese whiskey is too weird for me. I like it, but it's like I need to be in the mood for it, and so like it's hard for me to enjoy Toki that often. I enjoy Hibiki every time. I haven't gone like super duper premium because I don't feel like I need to. Like Old Granddad is like a staple for me. I would say Rittenhouse is also really good. Rittenhouse Rye Overproof is like a very strong contender. I don't have any Rittenhouse on me. If I want something made with rye, I would make it with Rittenhouse. Like Rittenhouse Rye is super good. Super spicy, but like also like not overly intense. So I would say it's either Old Granddad or Rittenhouse. Dick Tracy was also a detective comic strip that was known for its grotesque villains. Like you had Flat Top, whose name was inspired by the aircraft carriers, but he literally had a flat head. What the heck? You have Hibiki when you had a bad day and you need to sing Baka mitai kodomo nano ne Anta shinjiru bakari de. I'm sure I'm mixing up the lyrics. That was actually a karaoke idea I've had for a long time. But I don't I can't sing when I have my family is asleep. I feel like I would wake them up, and I can't like really belt out songs So I'd have to like do it in this more mellow voice, and this mellow tone, which won't always work for some of the songs I like to sing. But and also like I'm not confident in my own singing. Anyways, but also like I had this idea for a karaoke stream where I would sing songs that would be based on a drink, and I would have the drink while I'm singing it. So with Baka Mitai, I would pour myself a nice glass of whiskey. For like one too many, I would get cheap beer. For there's literally a song named Beer by Real Big Fish, and I'd use a more expensive beer. One of the most clever lines in any song I've ever heard, and it's you can only appreciate this if you are a mixology artist like myself. It's from Don't from Ed Sheeran. Is like, met this girl late last year. She said, "Don't you worry if I disappeared." I went away for months until our class saw us again. She told me I was never looking for a friend. Maybe you can swing by my room around 10. Baby, bring a lemon and a bowl of gin. We'll be in between the sheets till the late a.m. That's the line. Baby, bring a lemon and a bottle of gin. We'll be in between the sheets till the late a.m. Between the Sheets is the name of a cocktail that involves lemons and gin. We're good. Yeah. Between the Sheets is the name of a cocktail. It is lemon juice, gin, and I forget the rest. It is it's really good. It's I've based a few drinks about that, about particularly lewd characters, like Hanako from Blue Archive. When I made a cocktail for her, was based on the in between between the sheets, because it's she's lewd. It's a lewd name, but it's also a really good drink. Definitely lemon simple syrup, gin, and something else that made it really fancy. And yeah, it's a good drink, and it's believed to be an Emrys drink. That's why it's got a sexual sounding name. Yeah, bottle of rum and sea shanties. I know no sea shanties, and it's like, what would you do with a drunken sailor? What would you do with a drunken sailor? That's like the only one I know. But I could. That sounds fun. Like make grog do a karaoke stream. The one alcohol song I know is Little Brown Jug. I've never heard of that. What's that one about? There's a Ken Ashcorp one, On the Rocks, which, you know, anything on the rocks means with ice. Alcohol with ice. On the rocks, hit me up with another brandy. Don't stop, give me space, I'm feeling dandy. Yeah. So, I drown another scotch. He talks about brandy in the chorus. On the rocks, hit me up with another brandy. And then sometime during one of the verses, he sings about scotch. So I was wondering, I would make a cocktail that involves scotch and brandy somehow. Is the key for that one. Baka Mitai, which we all know it's Kiryu like sipping whiskey as he laments how much of a fool he is. One Too Many is literally about binging beer, or binging cheap beer. Beer is about is a breakup song where he drinks beer. Um, Why Do I from Set It Off. Sometimes I write you letters that you'll never read. When I get to drinking, I get to thinking, I wish you were thinking about me. And then the chorus, that's the first two lines, and then the chorus was like, so why do I still wake up 2 a.m, cold sweat screaming your name? Why do I get drunk and look at your pictures? Why do I feel this way? There's no specific drink to that song, but but he is drinking during that song. How Dry I Am. These sound like old songs. I remember there's like I was on a Fallout binge once and listened to a bunch of old songs. So I listened to like the Fallout songs, which are like 50s, 60s songs. But then they went on to like non-Fallout songs that were like others 50s songs and 60s songs I've never heard of, and those are actually pretty cool. Lil Brown Jug was a really upbeat song about a man and his wife being alcoholics. What the fuck? I mean, if it's a loving relationship, maybe that's cool. They just like enjoy a drink together. Ooh, yeah, that was another one. Beautiful Crazy. Her day starts with a coffee and ends with a wine. Takes forever getting ready, so she's never on time for anything. Yeah, that song's very pretty. I like that song, and it mentions alcohol, wine. Did The Kind of Love We Make have alcohol? We've been burning both ends, keeping the lights on. So what you say we cancel our plans? I don't think so, no. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think any VTubers or YouTube content creators gives advice on singing out there, right? Maybe I don't look into it, but I can find plenty of art tutorials. Usually you would just need a vocal coach. Honestly, like a lot of them get like offhand vocal coaches. There's plenty of like singing tutorials out there. Like there's like a million vocal warm-ups, and those are good to do regardless. I know Pippa actually like talked about this. Like she'll do a vocal warm-up before every stream, because much like you stretch your legs and arms right before exercising, so you can like loosen up your limbs, right? So you can actually do workouts like pump out those barbell reps or like lat pull downs or like leg presses or whatnot. You have to do the same thing with your voice, because your throat's a muscle. And then so like Pippa has talked about she had linked, in fact, like vocal warm-up she does that are just free on YouTube. And I do those not often anymore to practice. But then also like on the other side of the coin, like Alira, who has a insanely pretty voice, has talking about she just sang the same songs over and over and over again until she was good at it. Like singing is very much I mean, I'm not gonna simplify it. I'm definitely 100% and Dunning Krugering it, because I know there's a lot of practice, hard work that goes into practicing singing. But in terms of just being like half decent at singing, there is a level of confidence to it for like a casual audience, not trying to be a professional singer. Like there is like a level of confidence to it. Like if you're just going to casual karaoke with friends, like if you're confident in what you're singing, if you didn't just like turn off the part of you that cringes and not care and just belt it out, like there's emotion to it. Like people can feel the passion even if you're not skilled at singing. Like it feels better to know that you're like confidently letting out your voice, you know. The two songs I mentioned predate Prohibition but got real popular during it. Oh god, that does make sense. That does make sense, honestly. Like, drinking songs have existed since five ever, but I'm sure, especially during Prohibition, they're not. they they enjoyed their drinking songs even more. Not least of which because they were probably drinking even more heavily during Prohibition in some cases. Hell, when it comes to martial arts, I don't see any videos covering it. That's why Persona 3 Karaoke Night Level Up boosts your confidence. Yeah. I think definitely with martial arts, like, it's hard to, like, you need someone to correct you. Like, oh, if your stance is not correct, you're not gaining as much power as you could. So you need someone there physically with you to, like, hey, spread your legs open a little more, or like tighten up your legs, or lower your head, lower your fist, lower your head, like stuff like that. Bend your knees a little more or a little less. And it's like it's that's why I think there's not that many. I can see martial arts video where they're like showing off. Like, oh yeah, here's this martial arts competition that I recorded from like my son's black belt karate like initiation. Or like there's a really cool YouTuber that's one of my coworkers showed me about, like obviously Tekken is a little over the top and not realistic. So like those wouldn't be like real martial arts necessarily. Not anything practical, at least. But then it was a compilation of someone doing the combos in Tekken IRL. Yeah. So that I can see martial arts videos like that. I do agree with there not being many practical videos on how to learn martial arts, simply because it's like, well, you kind of need someone to like guide your body directly to know how to do it correctly. Eric Jacobs, is that the name of the person? I don't follow that person because I don't play fighting games, but I remember a coworker who's into fighting games showed me something like that. And I was like, oh, that is kind of cool. I see plenty of workout videos showing the form, but yeah, it's not as strict as martial arts, because martial arts is very disciplined. And yes, you should have good form when working out, but it's like it's relatively straightforward with working out. Like, you only need to watch one video and it's like, okay, this is how you do it. And then if it's a particularly good video, it's like, this is how not to do it. You shouldn't do this. Or they'll explain, you shouldn't do it like this because you might hurt your back doing it like this. Or like you're not targeting the right things if you do it like this. And so you should follow this form exactly. But it's like, okay, in the end, you're just like, when you're doing sit-ups, it's like, okay, you should know where it should be targeting. You should know where it's targeting your arms when you do it in arm exercise, etc. I applaud him for being able to do a spinning demon kick. The martial arts world just want to keep it to themselves. Oh yeah, there is a little bit of like weird, I guess there's no other way to put this, but gatekeeping, right? Like, weird amount of gatekeeping with martial arts. Yeah. The only one, like, fighting game I feel like I was ever into was like Tekken 4, and I'm reminded now of just like the hilarious martial law in the Bruce Lee wannabe, and that dude like opened a shitty restaurant, and it's like everyone's like, the food here sucks, and he beats the shit out of them, And then so his restaurant closes down because he beat the shit out of his customers and it made the local news. And then so he just opened the dojo instead. I would like to learn I would like to learn that for karate for exercising. Yeah, it's a good workout. I I used to do swimming. I used to do other stuff. Now I'm just kind of lazy, and I still do like long stints on the treadmill. I'll do an hour on the treadmill, but it's it's mostly so I can, because I can't use my phone while swimming. I can't use my phone while doing karate or like other martial arts. I did take martial arts for a while, but I never finished it. I there's a little stand on the treadmill as I'm jogging that I can put my phone on so I can watch anime, and so that's what I do. It gives me a reason to splurge on a punching bag. Oh yeah, like we did have like a little, I guess it is a punching bag. I don't know. Yeah. We had like a little sparring dummy thing that was like a punching bag. Like it, that's like my, did my dad even use it that much? We used it sometimes to work out. Oh my gosh. Boop. Oh no. What the fuck? Okay. Ugh. Okay. Well, I'm actually getting kind of hungry, so I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks again to Poke specifically for inspiring this stream. It was really nice getting to just make some delicious toddies, because it's been a while actually since I've had a hot toddy, and I forgot how comforting it is. I forgot how just delicious and warm and comforting a hot toddy was. It's so good. It really is so good. So, thank you. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you like my recipes for hot toddies, both the bear one from Yumi Tsuchinoko and the one from a custom one where we tried to make like an IWC cocktail. It was fun, and then we got to talk about a lot of stuff, primarily Batman, because I really wanted to. I just was binging Batman. Here's hoping I can find another like thing to autistically ramble about for 3 hours next time, because I'm shocked that I managed to go for 3 hours. But yeah, thank you so much, fellas. See you next week. Next week, I do think we're gonna try making as many different mules as I can stomach.